Abbot.
Right, so what are we doing?
The cost of the Olympics is spiralling out of control. The construction chief quit in case it stains his reputation. A major building project going massively over budget. In this country, who could see that coming?
Yeah.
The world's fish stocks are running out. Climate change is upon us. London will soon be underwater unless a concentrated effort by all of the people of the world to work together for the common good is initiated immediately. All we need to do is to put our differences aside and pull together as a team. Just a little sacrifice, a little cooperation, and the planet can be saved for the benefit of the human race. We're doomed.
Oh, no.
And Britain was found to have the worst behaved children in the world ever. They smoke more, get stoned more, fight more, no less, and are fatter than any teenagers in existence. We're number one. Nice to win at something, eh? Oh, dear. Well, this has been a hell of a week. I saw James Bond this week.
Did you?
I certainly did, yes.
Lucky you.
I
Was
know.
it fabulous?
You sound like you're talking with your head in a bucket.
Oh, do I? Oh, I
You got the
don't.
microphone the wrong way around.
No.
Got to speak in the part that says front.
Well, I am.
Hang on.
Have you done
Sounds
this before?
terrible, doesn't it?
Awful.
Oh.
Let's do the rehearsal on the
Try
air.
that.
Is that? Oh.
Much
Oh,
better.
oh, it's turned itself around magically.
Yeah.
With my hat.
Yeah. It's not that magic.
Yeah, I went to see James Bond yesterday.
And did you like it?
Did I like it? You know when you go to see films sometimes and you come out feeling like the main character? Alex will probably back me up on this. You know, you go in to see something like that, like a Hong Kong chop fooey movie, and you come out thinking that you can, you know, throw a few moves. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Like you come out thinking, hey,
When I went to see Walk the Line,
What's
I thought
that?
I could be as cool as Johnny Cash.
oh, right, walk the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You're not impressed, though.
no, well, you know, don't think any more, Alex.
No, I'll try not to.
But no, for the last, certainly for the few hours that I came out of James Bond, I thought, hey,
Hey, I'm a bit cool.
yeah. And driving here tonight, I felt almost as though I was at the wheel of an Aston Martin DBS. You know, switching from lane to lane at 15 miles an hour, checking over my shoulder. You know.
Have you been running around corners doing a gun pose and bursting through doors and
I
things?
do hope not.
Well, you know, at the moment I feel as though my body is a coiled spring, like I could crash through the 3 panes of glass that separate us and dispatch you, Alex, with one karate chop,
I'd like to see that.
and spirit you, Lucy, away to a romantic hideaway.
Don't touch me, or I'll kill you.
That's nice. Not quite what I had in mind.
Does it mean it's, from that then, it's a very boyish film? The new Bond one. Will it be more for the boys than the girls?
Yes, definitely, yeah. There's none of
Really?
that eyebrow wagging Roger Moore
that nice
business.
schmoozy, silky
No.
tone.
There's a lot of violence and a lot of death.
Is he, quite macho in it?
Yes, very.
Is he?
He's
Is he as good
more...
as Piers?
way better.
Oh, I loved Piers.
But Piers, I don't want to say Piers Morgan. He would be about as good at James Bond as was Piers Brosnan. Piers Brosnan, to me, always looked as though he was shopping for clothes. There was nothing about that man that looked like he would, invest violence upon you.
Really?
Yeah, not a bit of it. No, I didn't think that he looked like he could kill anything.
Oh, I think
Apart
that
from
coolness
time.
was very good.
No, I didn't get cool from him. I just got...
What about Rog? He's my second favourite.
Well, Rog was just silly. I mean, it was just...
Oh.
Well, it was, but it was enjoyably silly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't James Bond. It was more like a cartoon. This is actually like the book James Bond. This guy is James Bond more than anybody that has been James Bond before, and I include Sean Connery in it. Because Sean Connery was a bit... I don't know. Could Sean Connery run for 100 yards after a vicious perp? No, not really. He'd take the bus or hail a cab, wouldn't he? Rather than break into a sweat.
With a chick
That's 'cause he
running
was
in
cool.
tow.
But
Too cool to run.
Yeah, well, he just didn't look like he could. He just wasn't that fit. But this bloke, no. Yeah, he is James Bond. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Some of the film is a bit slow. Like, the thing I missed was eye-popping stunts. I mean, there's a few amazing things, but they didn't have that kind of over-the-top sort of gadget stuntery that Bond has become known for. It's more like physical violence rather than, over-the-top silly stunts that couldn't possibly...
Special cars and things.
Yeah, that couldn't
That's a
possibly
good thing,
exist in
surely.
real life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought so, yeah. It's a bit stripped down, the movie.
Love interest, is there some of that as well?
Yeah, a little bit, but not that much.
Okay. That's often a bit cheesy, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
It's a bit unnecessary.
Well, it's just... Because I went with trepidation, because I thought... All Bond movies are exactly the same, and every time I see a Bond movie, I think, right, I'm never going to watch one of these silly things again, because they all start with some, over-the-top stunt, and halfway through, he throws someone off a cliff and says, "Mind the step," or some weak joke like that. And at the end, they're always in the same place, in this gigantic hangar, because they always shoot the last, the end game in the same set, which is this giant hangar of a place that they either fill with water or not, depending on which movie they're in. You know, I think there's like evens and odds, isn't it? If it's number 7, then we're full of water. If it's number 8, we're on dry land.
It blows up.
It all blows up. He's fighting 1,000 miscreants, all of whom have machine guns. Without bullets, apparently, because no matter how much shrapnel they fire at him, he doesn't get hit, and he's there with a pea shooter, knocking them all down. and then the final bit of the movie will be the guy in a Nehru suit, the crazed loon who wants to take over the world, and he throws
Bops him.
Yeah, he straps him to his own rocket or something like that, and says, "Have a nice trip," and then magically he's floating in a dinghy with the girl who was resisting his charms all the way through.
Yeah.
And then he pulls a parachute over them.
With a Union Jack on it.
Yes.
And then they're all going, Bond, Bond.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Pan out. Titles. Silly.
See, for me, the whole time you were describing that, I was thinking Moonraker. And I bet you had a different one in your head.
Well, all of them. They're all the same.
No, but there's always one that springs to mind, is there not?
My favourite was Diamonds Are Forever, which is one of the silliest, but...
yeah, well, Moonraker's pretty silly. That's the one with Jaws in.
Right. Oh, right. Well, there's none of that. This is an actual violent action movie. It's not like a James Bond film, which I thought made it really, really good.
That sounds slightly disappointing.
No, I think that it's going to get really good reviews. In fact, I saw the first review in the
It has had
Telegraph
good
today.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's out in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 14th or something. Yeah.
16th.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Something like that.
Well,
yeah.
you're on the pulse.
People will go. People will flock. And they'll
Will you
come
go
out...
again?
No. Well, no, I'll watch it when it comes out on TV again.
Oh, that's ages away.
Bound to be, yeah.
Christmas.
But
It'll be
no,
like
I
the
think
Queen.
people are going to really like it, and all those naysayers who thought, we can't have him. How can you make that decision without seeing the film? Like, they just don't like his face.
I think they didn't like his hair colour. That was the problem.
Well, he does look a bit like Shrek's younger brother. That's not offensive, is it? Well, he's not classically handsome, is he? Not
If you
like.
fancy Shrek, it's not offensive.
Well, he's not like Pierce Brosnan, who looks like a shop room dummy come to life.
Oh, no, that's a terrible thing to say.
It's true, though.
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, he doesn't look like a secret agent or any member of an arm of the law.
Doesn't he?
No, he looks like a shop assistant, does Pierce.
Oh, he looks lovely to me.
Good girl. He'd forever looked like he was shopping. See, killing was not on his mind. But no, killing is definitely on this bloke's mind. Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with him. So that's what you want from James Bond.
Yeah.
Out there, dealing vengeance to the people that deserve it. On our behalf. Don't you feel safer already?
Much better.
Oh, yeah, okay. Here's one in Chester. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Nick. Nick,
Why does he sound like that?
you had a debate
Why does he sound like that?
He's not listening.
Well,
He's not coming up on my screen.
He sounds like he's talking from next door, and I can hear him bleeding out from the door. Yeah, okay. Well, hang on there a minute. We'll look confused unto each other. There'll be a lot of faffing around and flurrying and worried glances, and we'll come back, and either it will be complete silence, or everything will be working perfectly.
The Home. Nick Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
It's Chester. Stephen.
Hello, Nick.
Stephen,
Nick,
loud and clear.
the Friday before last, you had a debate on comedy and the state of it in this country.
Yes.
And I sent you a clip on Rabsy Nesbitt. Did you watch it?
You sent me an illegal clip that somebody had posted without the permission of the copyright holder on YouTube.
I did.
And I watched it today, and it was laugh out loud funny.
It was, wasn't it? I like the actual Scottish words that I've never heard before as well.
I think that the British, or rather the English TV media, are very reluctant to put on Scottish comedy because they assume, rightly or wrongly, I would assume wrongly, but then my ears are tuned, that we won't be able to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah,
but that's part of the humour, is the, the rich language of it.
I mean, I loved him. He was in the unemployment office, and he said, I will skive for this nation, basically. And I thought it was really, really funny.
This is one of those conversations where somebody will say, "Hey, did you see that programme last night?" And say, "No," and then they recite the script, thinking, in their head, it's almost like when you're humming a tune, you've got orchestral accompaniment in your head, and when you're reciting a script, you've got audience laughter, and you've got their, the whole cast is joining in. But out of your mouth, it just doesn't sound very funny at all. And you can't understand why people are looking at you bemused.
Did you see the little man in that called Bernie?
Is that his son?
Yeah, it was a tiny little fella.
Yes.
Really small. Did you hear what happened to him at all?
I'm getting a vague memory. I'm also getting alarm bells ringing in my mind that I don't think we want to go there, girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now, and I'm...
Oh, right. I didn't even know he was ill.
I won't go into too much detail, but...
No, or any detail, in fact.
Okay, all right.
Thanks very much.
Nick?
Yes.
The other one I thought was really funny was this new one that's come out this week, Borak.
The film?
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, that's getting great reviews as well, but to me it looks like... this is not to say it's not funny, but it looks like a long television programme, and I don't want to go and spend... £150 going to a cinema in the West End just to see a long television programme. I'll wait till it comes out on the DVD, all right?
Yeah, but I think it just proves that there is still some reasonable comedy.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So, of course, I'm not saying that there's no great comedy anymore. It's just that, there's precious little of it, and it's few and far between.
And there's one last thing I'd like to see happen.
And finally, yes.
In the Bond movie, I'd like to see Tallulah with a budgie slotted in somewhere in the film.
All right, well, I'll make a phone call to the Broccolis, all right?
I thought that would be really funny.
OK, cheers, mate.
Bye.
Ta-ta. Right. Well, it'll fit in somewhere. There's, there's plenty of room for birds in Bond movies. Barnsley. Oh, it's Louise.
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, lesson one was, speak more clearly.
Yeah.
And lesson 2 was speak more slowly. And lesson 3 is speak deeper.
Okay.
And I think that you're getting there.
Thanks. You were talking about this thing, about our children in this country being the worst behaved, was it in Europe or something?
The worst behaved in Europe, yeah.
Well, from what I can remember, when I was at school, I know the stereotypes of, like, the reason why children are bad is because the parents don't care. But
because the what, sorry?
The parents don't care.
Have you forgotten lesson 1 already? See, what I'm trying to do, if you haven't heard this nice lady before, she wants to get into radio. Despite all of my protestations, she won't listen. She's going to do it anyway. I'm telling you, you won't be happy. But you're determined, right? And so, I am now determined to help you in any way I can.
Oh.
And so, what you have to do is, first of all, maybe, I don't know, unless you want to work for the BBC, you've got to lose the accent, unless you want to be The BBC will like you for that, or maybe you could take over from that irritating bloke that's the announcer on Big Brother.
Oh, no, not him.
Say it's 10:28 p.m.
It's 10:28 p.m.
No, it's not going to work, is it?
No.
We'll find something for you. Go on.
Right, well, from what I can remember, when I was at school, I know a stereotype is, children who are bad behaved is because the parents don't care about what they do.
Yes.
But when I was at school, all the people that were bad behaved, yes, there was them, but it was a mix, mainly, of spoilt brats, children who just wanted to do whatever they wanted to do, and people who were rebelling because the parents were so strict about what they did. So maybe in some weird way, parents being strict has had an influence.
Right.
On this.
Yes, that makes sense.
Because if you tell a child not to do something, they're going to do it.
And if you tell them not to do anything, they'll go crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
So what do we do?
Exactly. Just, I don't know. I think maybe just find a middle ground. I mean,
tell them to do stuff, but yeah, no, like be shrugging your shoulders while you kind of like mumble it. No, so I can only tell you here. Would you mind not stabbing me? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I mean, like, my parents weren't strict, but they made sure that I did what I was told. If I was bad, they'd tell me off, but they wouldn't say, you know, you cannot drink.
Right.
Or you cannot get that pierced.
Did they thrash you?
Yes, I got smacked as a kid.
Right. Good.
Good. So...
Has it done you any harm?
No, it hasn't, actually. I used to be quite scared of my dad, though. It was that, wait until your dad gets home.
Yeah. Well, that's what dads are for.
Yeah.
Coming home and sorting out the problems. Backing up your mum, yeah.
Yeah. So that used to terrify me, though. Wait until your dad gets home.
But that's an interesting point, because the parents are being blamed, and so it's either parents who just don't care, and that's not a class thing, because middle class parents seem to have this ridiculous laissez-faire attitude where they don't want to disencourage their charges from expressing themselves in any way that they want. They don't want to impede their what's in them.
I watched that on my spot. Somebody actually believes that, and their kids are mental. So I don't know. I think being spoilt can be just as worse as not having parents that don't care about what you do. Really.
Right.
Just seem to get away with anything.
Okay, well put. Thanks a lot, Louise.
Bye.
Oh, not happy? There was more?
I'm all right.
Oh, okay. It just sounded like you were, you had a list, and I cut you off in your prime.
No.
No, okay. All right. So she's leaving a happy customer. It's the first. All right. Thanks a lot, Louise.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Ta-da. Here's the story. British teenagers are the worst behaved in Europe. I mean, this is on the back of British teenagers are the fattest in Europe. Is there a single thing that we could possibly get to the top of a table of that's not embarrassing?
There's one, but it is embarrassing. Have you heard the story yesterday about the girls who won't stop hugging at school?
Yes, now something about that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like we're getting the whole picture there, because they're reporting it, unless you know more, that they're hugging each other so much that they can't get to lessons in time.
That's right, yeah.
And they're hugging people who weren't expecting it. And who
I didn't know they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, and they're making complaints about
inappropriate behaviour.
Squeezing, yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought it was all just affectionate.
No, apparently there must be some sort of craze. I bet there's some kind of craze going on there, that either they're overcompensating for teachers telling them off, where everybody just gets up for a class hug. What can you do as a teacher? I mean, if you
maybe it's the teacher's idea.
Yeah, if you tell some kid off, and then the whole class stands up to give them a hug, I mean, that would put you right in it as a teacher, wouldn't it? That'd make you look like a fool. So I bet there's something like that going on. Must be.
Do you think?
Because
Well, I wondered if maybe it's the first time, children are actually, embracing one another and being nice, and maybe we should be, encouraging this a little bit more.
Well, yes, that's right, but which makes me think that there must be something else to this story that we haven't actually heard, that there's some sort of childish campaign.
It's like a little game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
Get
that.
one over on the teachers, embarrass them.
Yes, either that or it is that they're going around hugging people who weren't requesting
Yeah.
close personal contact.
Yes, that could also be annoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
well,
if you're playing football, for instance.
yeah, but it was a girls'
There's
school.
nothing between you and the goal.
and someone gives you a hug.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be hugged all the time.
British teenagers are the worst behaved in Europe. They spend more time hanging around on street corners, are more rowdy, rebellious, they drink more, they have sex earlier than any other country. What is it with us?
Just naughty.
A report to be published next week by the left-wing think tank, the Institute for Public Policy Research, warns British youth is on the verge of mental breakdown. They're at risk from antisocial behaviour, self-harm, drug and alcohol abuse. And this whole thing is being received by teenagers with glee. Because we wear bad behaviour as a badge of honour in this country. And when ASBOs came out, I said on the air, which was, poo-pooed by all and sundry, I said, if you start handing out these ASBOs to kids who are, by definition would deserve it, those kids, by definition, are going to love it. I mean, there would be nothing more hard than, except going to prison, to put on your CV of toughness. And that's exactly how they've received it. And how long have they been handing out ASBOs? Years, right? And they've only just realised? Like it comes as a big surprise? Don't they listen to this show? The youngsters also spend less time talking and sharing meals with their parents than in France, Italy, Spain and Germany. And that's the key, I think, right there.
Meal times.
Well, it's just a social interaction with adults. And the only adults these guys see are the drug dealers, which is not a good influence. It's true.
All of them?
Yes.
Right.
Southern European nations with a strong Catholic tradition and a focus on the family do not share the same level of delinquency as in the UK. Well, let's hope that this doesn't become a religious thing. And I'm surprised that the organised religions haven't actually latched onto this and started to insist that there's more of it. Scandinavian countries, which have a large welfare state and a strong sense of civic duty, also have better behaved teens. And it's the civic duty part, not the welfare state part, that's important there. You go to, Holland, for instance. The only people wandering around drunk and stoned on the streets of Amsterdam are British tourists. The Dutch people don't do it. In fact, well, they don't, because they tut at you, because that's it's behaviour that is not acceptable in their society. Having sex when you're 12 years old in this country is also a badge of honour. Whereas over there, it's disapproved of. It's not acceptable behaviour, and so they just don't do it because they don't want to be embarrassed, in amongst their peers.
Are you disappointed? 90973.
Well, let's get back to it.
Right, back to this story. It's about behaviour by our kids, right? They're hanging about and being hoolies. Because they don't have a structured interaction with their adults, and it damages their life chances. That's what the guy who wrote this report says. The report comes after previous studies showed that British teenagers are top of the league for drinking, fighting and sexing. One found that today's teens drink double what they did in 1990. And for many, drinking too much is linked to bad behaviour, fighting or underage and often unprotected sex. No, really? According to the charity Alcohol Concern, illegal drinking, mainly beer, cider and Alco Pops, is the cause of the problem behaviour. No. It isn't the cause of the problem behaviour, it's just part of it. It goes along with it. I mean, they wouldn't be hanging around on the streets drinking Alco Pops late at night if they weren't, off the rails to begin with, would they? So it's not causing it, it's part of it. These people should just come to me, and before they make fools of themselves by writing this stuff and going in the press, they should check with me. Check their facts, check their conclusions. Because some of it's just blindingly obvious. Elaine Peace of the children's charity, NCH, dismissed the report. She said, having a rebellious streak is nothing new. Drinking to excess is seen as a rite of passage to adulthood. Well, in this country it is, yeah. It's part of that I'm hard thing. I'm hard, so I'm not going to pay attention in school. I'm going to sit at the back and flick...
Chewing gum?
Yeah, or knives it is now.
Oh.
I'm going to shoot the person in front of me. Or just not show up at all, because that's hard, right? And what it is that they've lived a life without consequence. That's the problem. You know, in my day, it were grand when I were a lad. In my day, how old do I sound when I say stuff like that? I'm about 80. It's true. If you were bad in school, they would ask you to hold out your hand, put a Bible over your wrist, and belt you. Thank you, sir, may I have another? But not anymore. They just ask you politely if you wouldn't mind stopping. And if you don't stop, well, they'll go to the extent of asking you politely if you wouldn't mind stopping again. They know that they weren't going to do anything. If they get picked up for, I don't know, chucking a brick through someone's window, the police are going to do what? I'll tell you, nothing. And their kids know that they won't do that. So anything they do comes with a fine of, a penalty of, nothing at all. And that's the problem. We used to, you need barriers at every stage of your life, particularly the teenage years, when you're learning where your barriers are in society. And if you don't give them any, well, the behaviour just gets exponentially worse, because there's stopping you. Yeah. And then you get stuff like we just had on the news, this kind of hysterical overreaction to any imagined slight, which is why we're all scared to death of teenagers in the street now.
Yeah. I saw some horrible teenagers on my way in today.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I was driving, and I saw these two, and they were hoodies, on the street. And there was obviously a party for a child going on. So there were balloons outside, and they were walking past, and they were looking at them, and I was watching in my car window, and I thought, I just know they're going to do something. And so they went straight up, ripped the balloons off the gate, popped them, walked off them, popped them. How mean is that?
Well, they're lucky they didn't burst through the front door and shoot everybody there.
I know, but...
Well, they were having a break,
so
were they?
selfish. That's so mean. That poor child is probably all upset.
Oh.
Yeah.
Family life around the world. We are way down in the list of where we should be. Proportion of 15-year-olds spending time with friends 4 or more evenings a week. In other words, hanging around on the street. Only the Ukraine is worse than us. And does anybody want to go to a holiday in the Ukraine?
No.
No. England is way down. Proportion of young people whose parents eat a main meal with them around the table several times a week. Guess which country comes top? It's obvious.
France.
No. Close. Italy.
Okay, yeah.
Then Hong Kong, then France, Russia, Belgium, Portugal, Sweden, Denmark, Spain, Japan, Argentina, Germany, Ireland, Hungary, Canada, Austria, Greece, then us.
That is really poor, isn't it?
We're not eating as a family at all, like ever.
That's sad, isn't it?
They get their turkey Twizzlers on a tray and squirrel themselves upstairs and play on their insane death games on the pewters, right?
But lots of adults don't eat at a table these days either, do
No.
they?
Well,
So therefore you're not going to encourage your children to.
It says here that parents are to blame for teenage delinquency in Britain by leaving the children to their own devices. The Institute for Public Policy Research says that parents who don't eat with their children or talk to them enough tend to leave them to learn about life from other teenagers, both from other kids who are living a life with no consequences, like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, it is.
Patricia Hewitt, the Health Secretary, admitted recently that the Labour Party had mistakenly given the perception that it was better if all women got jobs. So she said it's our fault. Can you believe that somebody of the Labour Party actually said it's our fault? Must have been a mistake. Adult role models are vital for children to learn about the norms of behaviour and values in our society, but in Britain children spend less time with their parents than is the case in culturally similar countries. The UK was at or close to the top of a number of indicators of bad behaviour for teenagers: drink, drugs, violence and promiscuity. 15-year-olds were drunk more often, involved in more fights and more likely to have sex compared with children in pretty much every other country, well, in Europe, but it would be the whole wide world. I mean, America doesn't... I mean, America, you get shot a lot, but they don't have the same kind of teenagers gone crazy thing here, because everyone's got guns, and if a hoodie came up to you in America, well...
That's the end of you.
The simple answer would be to just shoot them. And on it goes. It's kind of depressing, really, because we're not going to do anything about it, because at the moment we've got this culture where we don't want to invade their human rights by asking them not to do whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
We've removed the belt from the school, which I don't think was a very good idea, because they know they can do anything they want and get away with it, up to and including stabbing teacher.
Well, but that wasn't there when I went to school, and we were still frightened of the teachers and of the consequences.
Well, what consequences were there?
Well, you were in detention an awful lot of time, and you were embarrassed.
Can you actually do that now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you were humiliated in front of your class.
Can you give detention now? Because
can you not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you would think that would be against their human rights. Incarceration.
Really?
Well, that would be my guess. I don't know that that's true, but that's just
maybe they asked parents for permission to be able to grant detention.
Yeah, and the parents say, "Nah, leave me, bye, something like that. Because those are the kind of parents that would be most likely to have, produced children that had a problem in the first place, right? They just don't care. Poor behaviour in schools is caused by boring, repetitive and badly planned lessons, according to Ofsted, the school's watchdog, which is turning around and shooting the people that they're supposed to be representing in the foot. Far from blaming the usual culprits of yob culture or irresponsible parenting for persistent poor discipline, Ofsted said that the teaching profession was guilty of failures that disheartened pupils and staff alike. In most cases, behaviour issues stem from students' frustration with unsatisfactory teaching and a curriculum that did not motivate a vocal minority. Well, that is just so weak. Have you heard of anything that's more pathetic than that? Oh, the poor babies aren't interested. Oh, boo, boo, boo. I wasn't interested in history. I was bored out of my mind in history. But I didn't, construct a bomb and leave it under my table, or whatever is the equivalent these days. I mean, I hated geography. Who didn't? But, you just sat there and shut up and, your mind drifted away and you didn't get a very good mark. But that was the end of it. You didn't sit there and create mayhem. Did you? Because you knew what would happen if you did. Oh, I'm so bored. Oh, that's nice. Sit down and shut up. Here's the delightfully named Mamuna. Mamuna. Hey, there's a hotel named after you. In fact, there's a Paul McCartney track named after you.
Mamuna?
Yeah.
Where?
In Marrakesh.
Okay. Do you know what it means?
No idea.
It means blessed.
Blessed?
Yes.
Oh, bless.
Hi. I want to talk to you about teenagers. Don't blame them. It's not all their fault.
All right. I'm
defending them.
You have to do better than that.
15, well, she'll be 16 soon, and I've got a 20-year-old.
Where are they now?
They're both out.
They're out?
Yeah, they're both out. One of them's gone to their friends, and one of them... In fact, my 20-year-old, I said to him, why don't you go out? You haven't been out for a while. My 16-year-old, she'll be 16 in a few weeks, she's out at her friends as well this evening.
Right. That's what she tells you.
I know. And they're good kids. And we as adults are to blame more than they are. We as parents are to blame more than they are. And like you're saying that, once they're teenagers and they come out with, oh, I'm bored, and whatever they're doing on the streets, why didn't we sort out the foundation when they were younger? And I say we as parents are to blame.
Yes. But the government is also to blame.
Yeah, exactly. Where can they go? In all honesty...
Please, don't give me this. They're so bored, so all they can do is stab someone on the bus.
No, I'm not saying that it's right for them to carry guns or knives or whatever they're doing out there. It's not right, okay? What I'm saying is, what is there to do? What is there to do?
See, that's just the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. They have more money and more entertainment possibilities than any children in the history of the world. How about picking up a book? How about watching TV, or playing a video game, or going down the, going down the mall? Or there's just no end of things for them to do.
Going down the mall, come on. Going down the mall, what? Shopping, what? Come on. That's not right.
What do you mean that's not right?
Activities.
They love that.
They're full of energy. They need activities. How about the government turning that Millennium Dome into some sort of activity? Why not that?
Oh, come off it.
Why not?
Because no one wants to go there for a start. No one lives around there. It's out in a desert wilderness.
Maybe the government made it so that it would be teenage friendly. Why not?
The government made it so it would be teenage friendly.
So they'd want to go there. Burn off some of that energy that they've got.
They can burn off energy by taking a run around the block. That's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, listen. I'm not saying that there's nothing else for them to do.
You are. That's exactly what you just said.
I'm not. There's lots more they can do. I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with picking up a book, and I totally agree with sitting around the table and eating. Once a week at least. My kids can't get away with it. There's no two way about it. Not that they want to. And we
once a week?
At least.
Oh no, Mamuna, you are part of the problem.
No, I'm not. I'm not, because I'm looking after them and I've got a baby. I run my own business. It's hard, but still, at least once we cook together. We talk a lot. That is what the problem is. There's no communication. That is the problem.
Yeah, but once a week is not communication. You might as well write them a letter.
I didn't say once a week communication. I said once a week at least we eat together. At least. That's where the problem is. Parents are to blame.
Yeah, but this sitting down together is
put our hands up.
Yeah, but
then we can start resolving
this sitting down together and having a meal isn't the reason.
No, it's not.
It's just that's part of the. It's not a cause. It's a symptom.
Of course. Well, but then if we tackled all of them, such as how we talk to them, that's got something to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to raise my hand.
I don't know. I mean, the way you're talking, it just sounds like you're one of those kind of people who just thinks they want to wrap them up in a little cotton wool ball, and anything they do is super fine, fantastic, and you don't want to impinge the little baby's freedom of expression. Woo, woo, woo.
Okay,
and that's just not how kids used to be brought up. It just, huh?
The proof is in the pudding, yeah. Okay, you think that's what I'm doing? If I say to you that I've got two, 20 and 15.
Yeah, and they're both out. You've got
they
no
are
idea
very
where.
Good kids. No, I'm not. Honestly, hand on my heart, they're brilliant kids.
Yeah, well, you would say that. You're their mum.
All right, they've never been in trouble. My son works with me full time.
Never been caught.
My daughter goes to school, comes to work.
Fleet of foot.
With me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
Nothing.
They don't get anything. They don't get anything that they haven't worked for.
Right, nicked.
Now that is proof.
Oh, well, it's proof.
Communication. Come on, Nick. It's not all the teenagers' fault. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you should have said right at the beginning, proof she has here. Oh, well, it's in the pudding. Hey, what's for pudding, Mamuna? What's for pudding today? What did you have today for pudding?
What did we have for pudding?
Yeah. You all sat round a table, communicating like crazy. What did you have for pudding?
Me and my son, we were working till, 5, 6 o'clock this evening.
How old's he?
20.
Right.
We finished work at 6, so...
Yeah. No pudding?
No.
Oh.
Any pudding.
Was there any dinner at all?
Yes, we did.
Oh, right. What did you get? Pizza?
No, we didn't get pizza. Kids' food that was cooked at home as well.
Burger.
That's what it's all about.
Burger and chips, something like that?
No.
Wasn't fish and chips, was it?
No. I don't agree that you're blaming... And, we say hoodies. As soon as a kid wears something with hoodies, stop it. Stop labelling them.
Well, you know what? Well, we label them because the hoodie is not worn in order to keep their ears warm. It's worn in order to disguise their identity. I went to a supermarket in the middle of the day a little while ago, and there were kids all hanging around outside, trying to be hard, which basically is what this all is. They're pretending to be hard, or actually achieving hardness. It's just about acting tough, which is, you know, a major problem that we have in this country, particularly. And you could write all a major part of bad behaviour, a major part of the ills in society is all about looking tough to your peers. It's this overreaction to imagined slights. You disrespecting me, all that. That insanity is all about looking hard, right? It's not paying attention in school, so you come out like stupid, and you can't count, and you can't add, and you can't read, and you can't write, but at least you look tough in school. So that's that problem. And if that mindset that we have, almost uniquely in this country, is responsible for the mess that we're in. I mean, we kind of had it. We've always had it, but in previous generations, this desire to look tough in front of your peers was tempered by being thrashed within an inch of your life if you actually got caught or stepped over the line. And so you kind of knew where you were. But now that mentality has been left almost like a microbe to just reproduce without barrier. And so I think that is the problem in a nutshell. It's this I am hard mentality.
Where's it coming from?
From having no pudding, Mamuna.
Listen, until we see where it's coming from, we can't tackle the problem. And we as adults don't want to see where it's coming from. We don't want to... We know where it is. We're labelling the children. We're so quick. Hoodies, there they are, stay away. But then again, where are the parents? What have the parents done about it?
I don't know, they've sent them out without any dessert. Hungry they are.
You're making a joke out of it now. And it's not a joke. It is a serious problem.
Yeah. Well, you've got to have a laugh every now and again, don't you, Mamuna?
Well, I suppose, yeah. But
all right, listen, I've got to go because I'm past the break, but thanks a lot, all right?
You're welcome.
Ta-da.
Bye.
What a nice lady. No idea where her children are, never mind. I went to a supermarket the other day, in the middle of the day, and there was a gang of kids hanging around outside, trying to be hard, like I was saying. And one of the kids went in. It looked like he was staging a raid. He had his hood up, a cap on underneath the hood, and I am not kidding, a scarf over his face. It was almost like Arab women's dress, so that you could only see his eyes. It looked like a bank raid. He went in there for a packet of crisps. Couldn't believe it. This is LBC.
Nick Abbott.
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
The Heathrow Connect is a smart new way to get to Heathrow Airport. They've got brand new trains, air conditioning, plenty of room for luggage. It takes 25 minutes from Heathrow to Paddington and runs every 30 minutes. And you don't get stuck in a 5-mile-long queue on the M4 while your takeoff slot for your plane is ticking away and you're pulling your hair out and your head wants to explode. None of that. You just slide smoothly in. And a weekend break for two, flying from Heathrow with Heathrow Connect, is available all next week on the Nick Ferrari Breakfast Show. He's in at 7. All you have to do is work out Nick's London connection, and you could be jetting off for a romantic weekend break with Nick Ferrari, Breakfast, and Heathrow Connect next week on LBC. Oh, Jethro.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
What's up?
What's up? Oh, I know, there's about 4 billion people starving to death in the world. There's about 60 undeclared wars going on, apart from the Iraq. People are frustrated with their lives. They don't feel fulfilled. But apart from that, it's all pretty okay, I think.
Yeah, never mind, eh?
No. Mamoon, she was struggling, wasn't she? I mean, I do blame the parents, because if they had... Listen, I mean, you've got to blame the parents, because if they hadn't done that wicked deed at 2:30am in the Saturday, Sunday morning after they come back from the pub 15 years ago, this problem just wouldn't exist, would it?
Quite.
So you've got to blame the parents in the end. But I think what we need to do is get kids mortgaged about 12 years old. Get them mortgaged. Slap a mortgage on them about 12 years old. Get them worried to death about that, anxious. Get them a couple of credit cards, and then they'd be so concerned about paying it all off and getting, okay, that they'd have no energy to go out and beat old ladies up and smash people's cars to bits.
They need more to worry about.
Exactly. Really worry about. Not whether I got spots on my dimples or whether
do you get spots on your dimples?
Or dimples on my spots or whatever, or, whether I got too much oil in my skin because of my hormone level, and whether Maureen in the back row of Mrs. Smith's geography class actually fancies me or not. You know.
Not. She doesn't. I've asked her.
Right. I mean,
my friend doesn't really fancy you.
That's right. She was only joking to see how far she could go.
Yes.
You know. She really likes John in Maths too, because as you say, he played hard against Mr. Fotheringay.
Yeah, Jethro, I think you need to call Anna.
Who's Anna?
Moving on.
All right. No, well, yes. Anyway, the thing is, another thing is, if you get teenagers at a very young age mortgaged up the hill, instead of going to school when they don't really want to go to school, and watching American videos about, or DVDs about tough guys with gold teeth, and coming on hard to their business type thing.
Hey, did you notice that?
What's that?
There was something wrong with his phone.
There was, I know.
And it cut out that word. Could you believe that?
Yeah.
It was almost the technology censored him. He almost used the B word on the air. Can you believe it?
Anyway, if you got the mortgage, they'd have to be earning an income, so they would do what we're all born to do, which is to pay taxes.
Get tumours. Yeah.
And then you can have the politicians debating endlessly about what our huge taxes should be actually used to do, like save the planet by taxing the people of Richmond who've got 4x4s very, very, very heavily, because that's apparently a green tax.
Yes, I find that fascinating, that all the political parties have it's almost as though they were like snoozing away there, and then suddenly someone came up with this wizard idea of how to lay more gigantic taxes on the people without the people having the ability to complain about it. Because if you complain about green taxes, you are saying that you don't care about the survival of your children and your grandchildren. You don't care about the planet. Same kind of thing that George Bush does in the States. If you disagree with George Bush, then you are unpatriotic. That's what the Republican Party are putting forward, which, interestingly, is the same thing that Tony Blair just came out with this week, that we don't want an investigation into our troops in Iraq because it would make them feel bad, and so you would be you would be against our boys, therefore again unpatriotic. So question me, and you are against Great Britain. It's just a genius a twist, and it almost makes you invulnerable.
It's a form of censorship, really, isn't it?
Well, not a form of. It is censorship. Listen, I'm going to...
Are you going to go away?
No, I'm going to keep you there. I'm going to come back, but we have to go away in order to come back again, all right?
Okay.
Hang on.
Well, let's get back to it.
So you were saying?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, right, we're back. Sorry, I didn't... Have we done a commercial break, have we?
Yes, we've done that, yes.
We poured in the money?
Apparently so.
Okay, we can continue then, that's right. No, yes, I don't really believe that the planet's really... And this is my hypothesis.
To thrash him.
Going
yes?
to be saved by doing what governments have done since Richard I wanted to go and wage war against our Muslim friends, which is to tax the people.
He's been reading.
Am I boring you to death?
No, go on. You want to tax people?
No, tax.
Oh, tax.
Tax. When politicians ever think, well, this is the problem, we've got a war, what should we do? We'd tax people. Another problem is social justice. I know what we'd do. We'd tax people. We'd tax people who are successful and rich and give it to the poor so they can go out and buy DVDs about street rappers in the United States and beat up old ladies. I think it's all interconnected, really.
And we're starting at Richmond. It's a very good place to start.
Yeah, so we're going to save the planet by taxing the bourgeois middle class and upper classes of Richmond because they're going to stop immediately driving their 4x4s, and that will stop the Brazilian government cutting down huge areas of the rainforest the size of Wales.
By Jove, I think he's got it.
7-3.
Nick Abbott.
How may I help you?
It's interesting that just this week, after that Stern report, he's an economist, right? What does it, maybe I'm wrong here, but what does an economist know about the environment? He's a number cruncher. Maybe he asked people that know. Maybe he knows a man that knows.
Maybe.
But before that came out, everybody was like, the people who thought green were considered, tree-hugging, bearded loons who knitted their own breakfast. Am I right? And most of the country was of the Jeremy Clarkson persuasion. Now, I know that most of the things that he writes are just for funny, right? He just, strikes these poses for their comedic effect. And he's right. It is funny. But most people did sort of cling to this, right, about climate change. And we, as a country, we seem to have gone, if you believe what you're reading in the press, turned 180 degrees in one day. And now everyone's all pulling together in the same direction.
Yeah.
We're almost embracing new taxes in order to save the planet. I can't think of anything else where everybody has changed their minds or all started to pull together in the same direction, as one, at once.
Yeah, it was like nobody cared at all before, wasn't it? Just
pretty much, yeah.
Ignorance.
I mean, only the people that hung out in health food stores, who all looked mostly like they needed to receive immediate medical attention.
That's cruel.
It's very true, though, isn't it?
Yes. Well...
Probably because, if you're fair, if you go to a health food store, it's because you're not feeling very well. Is that true?
Well, I don't know. Some people go as a matter of,
Maybe,
of course, don't
I
they?
suppose, the vegan loons, that's not offensive,
I suppose not at all. But it depends if you naturally take lots of vitamins and want to go and get your fix. Do you take many vitamins?
Well, I take one pill that's got the lot.
Yeah.
And look at me.
Wow. James Bond before us.
Himself, yes.
But the omega-3s, you're not into those?
No, I do. 3, 6 and 9.
Oh.
Which comes in the one bottle, yeah.
Very good.
But you don't need to go to a health food store for that. They sell it in Sainsbury's, without mentioning any brand names. Sainsbury's, you say?
Or Tesco's, or Asda,
Yeah.
or... Yes. Well, yeah, I suppose it... Well, maybe your seeds?
What?
Do you eat seeds?
Seeds?
Yeah.
No.
A few pumpkin seeds on your porridge, perhaps?
No.
No. Definite no.
That sounds horrible.
Pumpkin seeds are very nice.
On porridge?
No, you can put them on anything, though, these days. It's quite good on cereal, generally.
Right.
All the seeds. Hemp seeds and...
How did we get onto this?
I'm sorry.
We're talking about climate change.
You were,
so
yeah.
we're talking about
because you started talking about people who go to health food stores look very pale.
Weekly shopping bills and the cost of hotel breaks could soar under Labour's green tax bill last night, and without this report, everybody would be holding their head. They wouldn't have suggested it, would they? Because it would be almost certain that they'd get voted out in the next election. It's election death to suggest that you're going to hike people's taxes to this extent. But it's almost like we're embracing it. More, we're saying. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Bend over.
These are likely to pass on. The supermarket chains and hotel groups face huge tax hikes, and they are likely to pass on the costs to consumers with higher shelf prices and room rates. Yeah, I think it's likely, yeah. The moves are part of a green tax blitz drawn up by the Environment Secretary, David Miliband. They've triggered a furious cabinet row, apparently, or so says the Stun on Tuesday, with Gordon Brown, who wants to, it says, protect hard-working families from bearing the brunt of taxation. Gordon Brown wants to protect us from extra taxes? Since when? This is a Q&A about what it may mean to you and me. Carbon trading. You've heard about that, right?
Carbon trading.
Yeah.
So if you drive your car, plant a tree at the same time or something.
Not quite. Close, yeah. The same vague idea. Involves giving every business a permit to produce a certain amount of pollution and then letting them buy and sell these carbon quotas to each other. This is important. It sounds boring, but I think that this could be a system more open to corruption than any you have ever heard. Cleaner firms would sell some of their pollution quota and so have lower costs, while dirtier companies would pay more. So in other words, someone from the government is going to look a business up and down and say, right, I'll give you 100 million tonnes of carbon. That's what you're allowed to produce this year. They'll just pull a figure out the air. And the business will say, righto, thanks very much. Now, if that business is only producing 60... What did I say? 100 million. 60 million tonnes of carbon a year, then you've immediately given them the value of 40 million tonnes of carbon to sell. That's clean profit, instantly, out of thin air, where none previously existed. And you can penalise a company by underestimating the amount
and then they'll end up...
and then they'll have to buy it from the companies that you've favoured.
Yeah, that sounds
So, in other
very
words,
creepy.
doesn't it sound like the sort of thing? Let's just let's drift into dreamland just for a moment and pretend that this might be what happens. I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it will all run very smoothly and fairly. You know, like everything else does in this country.
What?
Say a minister happened to be personal close friends with a guy who ran a business, such that when he ceased to become a minister, he would almost certainly get a part-time directorship where he'd only have to show up one day a week and he'd get 100 grand. It happens all the time. That's how they make their money once they've come out of office, right? And they'll have 5 or 6 of these. They'll collect them like flowers. And they'll do nothing at all, and they'll just be sucking up the money because they were kind to them when they were in office. That's how it works in this fantastically corrupt society that we're living in. We pretend to ourselves that it isn't, but it actually is. It's one of the most corrupt countries in the world, partly because of our open banking system. All of the drug money, all of the arms money, all of the dirty money in the whole wide world that doesn't go through offshore banking accounts comes through London. Those are the people with £1 million bonuses who are buying up Surrey. Those people. You know, they look upstanding and decent in their stripy suits and their nice ties, but they're funding, most of the misery of the world. That's us, that is.
That sounds really cheery.
Yeah. So if you were friends with one of these companies, don't you think that you'd be more likely to overestimate how much they would produce in carbon deposits, so that they would come under your estimate, so that they'd be able to sell the difference on an instant free profit out of thin air? Doesn't that sound likely as a possibility?
Yes.
This whole carbon trading thing, that sounds very suspicious. What will the report mean in practice? How will it affect road transport costs? Slapping a huge increase in road tax for gas-guzzling 4x4 Chelsea tractors will go down well with Labour backbenchers, but even if it had little effect on... it would go down well with Labour backbenchers, even if it had little effect on total pollution levels. Top road tax of £600. It's going to have absolutely no effect whatsoever. I mean, is somebody who's eyeing up a Ferrari for £140,000, is an extra 600 quid going to put them off?
No.
Of course not. It's going to make no difference at all. It would be the difference between getting a cup holder or not.
I'd like them to pay more anyway, though.
But they do, because their cars get through petrol like it's... like they've got a hole in the tank.
Yeah.
So, in effect, they do pay more. So that's going to make no difference. So that will just be another super way of raising taxes, but it won't actually, solve the problem in any way. What other taxes are being considered? An increase in air passenger duty is likely as a way of discouraging the cheap flight culture. A £5 hike would raise £400 million a year. So your fare to Prague is £23 each way, as opposed to £28 each way with a £5 hike. Is that going to put you off going? Are you going to go to Cornwall instead? You're going to maybe take a trip and spend your holiday in Liverpool, perhaps?
I thought it would be a lot more than that, actually, for the flying.
So it'll make no difference at all.
It would if it was higher, though.
Well,
it?
They'd have to double or triple it.
Yeah.
I mean, double or triple the actual fare. Yes. I mean, it'd have to be £500 to fly to Paris for people to stop going there.
Yeah, that would stop me.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. So they're going to increase it a little bit and make a gigantic amount of money extra in taxes, but not actually solve the problem or even affect the problem in any way. You see where I'm going with this? It's actually quite I find this whole thing rather suspicious that they've, as one, and it's not just the government, because all the parties are in agreement with this, because I think they've all got pound signs in their eyes, and they can't believe that they've come up with a way of taxing us extra that we will agree with. Is this approach consistent with Labour's domestic policy, the question here? No. This is the answer. The new rules forcing children under 12 into a child seat, well, this is a bit out there, but I'll read it anyway. Into a child seat has boosted demand for gas-guzzling people carriers because traditional family cars are not wide enough for 3 child seats in the back. So, by insisting that all children must sit in a child seat, you're actually going to have to buy a bigger car if you've got more than 2 children. So it says here. That's a bit grasping at straws, really, isn't it? This is the Telegraph. This letter was quite interesting. I haven't had the chance or the inclination to check this fact, but this is interesting. If this is true, then this is quite extraordinary. A reader has written in, a bloke called Stan. He must be 100 years old. What we do in Britain will not amount to a hill of beans on a global scale when China is planning to open more than 500 coal-fired power stations in the next year. That's more than one a week. Britain's emissions account for less than 2% of global human CO2 emissions, which account for 4% of all CO2 emissions in total. 4% of CO2 emissions are only caused by us humans. 96% come from the world itself.
Right.
So our effect is 2% of 4%. So in other words, even if the entire human population stopped driving, heating their homes,
flying,
eating food other than that which they grew themselves, using hot water, basically, if we
everything,
stop using electricity. If we went back to Stone Age living, when we were all living in caves, tomorrow, it wouldn't make the slightest bit of difference because 96% of the problem, according to Stan, is caused by the world itself, and most of it's coming from the wrong end of a cow. Here's, we've got to have a break, and then we'll... Hey, Joan?
Yes?
Can you hang on a moment?
All right, then.
OK, we'll be right back.
Nick, can I just...
Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Hey, Joan.
Yes.
Thanks for waiting.
That's all right.
I hope you weren't using electricity during that short break.
The very day, you did hear this, the very day that they had us all worrying sick about how much electricity we're using in our house, that was the very day the government said they were going to floodlight dozens of different buildings, including Buckingham Palace, all the time.
Yes, until the Queen stops raining.
Well, yes, and it's not just Buckingham Palace. It's a whole lot of public buildings. But they can do that, so long as we all get those funny bulbs in our kitchens.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like those bulbs. They give off a bad light. It's like hospital light. It's just not pleasant to live with. I hate them.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
And as for suspicious, don't you think it's really suspicious that there's been this sort of air of panic? Suddenly, this rushy thing about we really must get all these taxes in suddenly. These extra taxes from you using your big cars and doing this and doing that.
They want to strike while the iron is hot. While we're still all slack-jawed and stunned at the imminent end of the world as we know it, they're going to slap us a big tax just for driving to the supermarket.
Yeah, I mean, but why are they panicking? What is it they suddenly want a lot of money for that they couldn't really explain?
I thought you had the answer.
War. Is that what they're getting ready for?
Oh, another war? No, they're probably just got a new catalogue from a furniture place. Harrods has probably just sent them a new furniture catalogue, and they're
Everybody wants a new chair, don't they?
Yeah, they're eyeing up a couple of £1,000 chairs. Yeah.
Oh no, but the whole thing is so ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense really at all. And what about? I was saying to Lucy, what about the the hole in the ozone layer? And, for ages we haven't heard a word, except that I did hear about a year back, was it? It's mended itself.
I heard that too, yeah.
And yet we were all having to, really panic about that. And there was this man, and he, the big story was that he got out of some ship or something, just under the South Pole where there was this particular hole, and his skin dropped off him. And
That's not funny.
it was a big story that his skin fell off him because of it. And I thought, oh my God, dead, you've got to be dead, hadn't you?
Well, uncomfortable at least.
Yes, and anyway, some months later, he was on making a lovely little broadcast on the radio. And he didn't mention his skin having dropped off or anything.
Well, not on
quite
TV,
happy.
mind. Because there's no amount of makeup that would cover that.
It's just farcical. I mean, then Lucy said, "Oh no, it's got bigger again. This whole nose on there got bigger again."
Don't listen to her. Scaremongering. That's what she's doing.
But I mean, why do people actually go with the government when they know? Everybody knows the government lies because whatever they want to do, they'll lie about it.
Because we, as people, want to be taken care of, like children. We want to be, cosseted in mummy's arms, and that's what government's all about. We want to be hugged. Despite the fact that you're not allowed to hug in school anymore, we want to be metaphorically hugged by our leaders,
taken care of.
patted on the head and told that everything's going to be all right. Yeah.
We really want to believe in them, don't we?
We do.
I mean, you could even...
Despite all the evidence to the contrary, we trust them.
Yeah, and you only have to go back as far as the Suez, which they're talking about at the moment.
The sewers?
Yes, you remember when we went in there and said,
In the sewers?
The Suez. Oh, pardon my accent. Suez.
Yeah, sewers. Mm-hmm.
No, Suez.
Yes.
With an S.
Right.
And
Suez with an S, because Suez with a W
because
goes...
underneath and couldn't really just go in there
Liza with an S, not
and
Liza
bomb
with a Z.
everybody.
Yeah, oh,
They
God. We're
organised
back with the bombing now, Joan. Cheer up, dear, it might never happen. Oh, it just has.
You couldn't possibly cheer up. You know everything. I mean, you know more than I do, because how could you ever cheer up again?
Oh, it's easy. Just forget about it, Joan. Honestly. It's going to make... nothing we do is going to make the slightest bit of difference.
Of course it's got to make a difference.
No, it won't.
Of course it has.
No, it won't.
Well, it did actually stop the war.
Not that. Never.
We had to take our troops out.
Right, people will be killing each other on a daily basis from now until the end of the earth. You know that that's true.
No.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
No,
it's
I'm
the
gonna
human.
stop it.
It's the human condition. And on a micro level, we stab each other on the bus because we don't like the way someone just looked at us. And on a macro level,
I think
we
really
leap
seriously
headlong into other countries just because we fancy it.
No, I think the more people like you are talking, being cynical, showing up the rubbish that we're being told, and the more people hear about it and talk about it, the less likely they are to get away with it in future.
Wrong. Well, you'd like to think so, but wars don't stop. They're going on all the time.
It didn't. Look,
everywhere.
It wasn't like this in the beginning.
It's happening down your road, Joan.
I know. Don't talk about my road.
Don't ever go out.
About the bus.
Don't ever go out. Get the Daily Mail delivered and do what it says on the front.
Look, listening to
Stay
you
inside.
is enough to make me scared to death.
Good. Well, maybe I've saved your life.
No, but if we all start being extremely cynical and analysing every blooming word that the government puts on, then we might just stop them getting away with it.
No, we won't.
I think we will. No, seriously, it did. We had to take the army out of the Suez Canal very shortly after it was in there because people actually found out that they'd been hoodwinked into attacking in the first place. And they actually had to give up, and Eden had to resign. So it can happen again.
Right, if we all pull together as a team.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, there's you and me.
Well,
and then there's Jethro.
It's a fantastical dream, Joan, and, you stick with that in your little airy-fairy Disney cartoon
You told
land.
me to. Just a moment ago, you told me to.
Just, smile and be happy. Go make yourself a nice cup of tea.
I don't want a cup of tea.
Coffee?
No.
Hot chocolate?
Now you're talking.
Hot chocolate,
hot chocolate. It might be.
All right, you see, you're propping up the Colombian government where the chocolate comes from. It's the drug trade. Joan, you're part of the problem.
No.
not yo.
Really?
Not yo. Yes. Hey, Joan.
Yeah.
Want to score some pot?
You might as well be injecting heroin right in your eyeballs, Joan.
Oh, God. Well, it makes me sleepy.
What, heroin?
That just shows you. Hot chocolate.
Oh, well, you know, I don't want to leave you without knowing that you're going to be happy. You're going to go to bed happy, right? With a little smile on your face. Oh.
Excuse me. Excuse me, I go to bed high night.
I know, don't listen to me. How impertinent. Yeah, OK, but listen,
All right.
Thanks a lot, Joan.
Thank you.
You've really cheered us up. What a nice lady. Let's have Russell Square. Ben.
Hiya.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Nick. I've got a message from Robert from the Ronda to start off with.
Oh, yes.
He says he's fed up of you and he'll ring you up at Christmas.
Great. That's something to look forward to.
I've just been to see Anthony Johnson's tonight.
Oh, the weird guy who warbles.
He's amazing.
Really irritating, yeah.
It was brilliant. And I've got Niles Barkley tomorrow. That should be good.
You got who?
Niles Barkley.
Niles Barkley, the tall, thin one and the short, fat one.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, they got one song that's great.
Oh, I thought all the album is.
It's a weird album. It's an album of very short songs, which don't really get going. Is that fair?
Yeah, some quite unusual ones.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And also I've got some, coming down to London, I've signed up to a few websites. I'm getting loads of TV show.
Just had a message from Lucy. Niles Barkley is, without question, the most fantastic act that has ever trod the boards.
Oh, she's speaking sense.
If you gained any other impression from what I just said, that was completely wrong, and it's because you're not listening carefully.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just swinging on my chair.
A chrysalis artiste.
Who?
Yes. Oh, well, never mind. My work is done. I might as well pack up and go home now, eh?
I was just wondering, where in London is good for bonfire night? 'Cause I've got my mate over and he wants to go somewhere, but I've no idea.
I think you've missed it.
Pardon?
I think you've missed it, haven't you? Isn't it the 5th tonight? Or is it tomorrow? Oh, it's tomorrow.
You'd think
Yes.
it would be tonight with all the fireworks going off.
This is the show that you want to listen to keep up with current events. I don't even know what day it is. Why are you listening to me? Turn off your radios now!
I was hoping I could get my nails clipped and out of the way before you got here.
I mean, even though we're all going to die, we might as well look nice, eh? Here's Charles in Worthing. Hey, it's Charles Worthing.
Good evening.
I love your hair products.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a bit late to be laughing.
Lucy, not Lucy, Louise. If Louise, the wannabe radio presenter, is listening to this now, this is as low as you want to go. Try and get your voice down as low as this nice man here. Yes, Charles.
I'm not trying for a low voice, it's old age.
It's just natural, yeah.
Well, yeah. What was I start? Was I talking to you the other night when the phone was cut off?
Lucy, dial 99, and then we'll only have to dial the other 9 if the line goes dead, all right?
No, but what happened, we was going to talk about the Wurlitzer organ you got on there, do you remember?
Wurlitzer organ, yeah, no, I don't actually have any of that, no.
No, but it's on your, what they call them.
What's names?
That's it. I started to tell you how they got that sound for the Wurlitzer, didn't I? And I was cut off, do you remember?
Well, we thought you'd passed out.
No, I won't use the word, it's the phone packed up. I mean...
Can you believe that of the two of them, it would be the phone that would pack up?
The phone packed up, and it's gone back, and I've got another one.
Oh, right.
And that one's no bloody good, because you can't see the figures when you put the phone numbers in memory. I took it back today, and they wouldn't... What do you think of this? They wouldn't change it or take it back because I've opened the box. That's what's Argos for you?
They took the money, you opened the box. Argos will take stuff back if you open the box.
I had a right row with them.
I bet you did, yeah.
To make sure everybody else heard.
That's why I like going to that shop, is because, people are always shouting.
How do I know if there's something wrong with the phone without opening it?
Often I go in there with, sandwiches and a flask of coffee, just to hang around. It's such a nice atmosphere.
Anyway, what I rang about was global warming.
Oh, yes.
What has fireworks got to do with this? Do they give off global warming, you know.
Some bloke said in the newspaper today that we should stop having fire. Is this insanity that the rugby club had a bonfire that was filmed and they projected it? That was just the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And some Jobsworth was standing up on the news defending it in front of this the film of a bonfire, and people were standing there looking at it. I mean, they might as well have sat at home and watched TV. At least Ant and Dec's on that. But the chap said, you know what, we shouldn't have fireworks either because of the carbon emissions.
Well, is that right?
Oh, you know, at some point you just have to say no. You just have to ignore these people. That's just crazy. Fireworks, pretty.
You see, Nick, people of my age lived through the war when we were very young, and I'm telling you, there was air raids with bombs dropping.
Which war?
The last war.
Oh, right.
Oh, God, you're getting me laughing.
Oh, better not do that.
No, I'm saying that people of my age lived through the war at a very young age, and the air raids then wasn't as noisy as these bloody fireworks they're letting off now.
Right, so...
They're still letting them off now at 11:35, and they're still letting them off, bangers.
Hitler better than your municipal fireworks display.
Yeah,
Right.
terrible, isn't it?
Those are the days, eh?
I mean, I wonder if these people that have got pounds and pounds of waste on fireworks would put a couple of bob in a tramp's hat.
In a tramp's hat?
Yeah.
Do tramps wear hats now?
Well, they usually wear it all.
Well, they used to, yeah. Of course, everyone used to wear a hat then.
Ones who've got hats.
It were grand when we were a lad, weren't it? 1860. But anyway, don't waste your breath on me, Charles.
Why?
Precious little left.
You want to get rid of me, don't you?
I don't think that would be necessary.
Now, I'll tell you what, though. I forgot to do it to plug my piano in, give you a tune.
Right.
I'll do one of these
Okay, next time you're in the bath. Thanks a lot, Charles.
Nice talking to you.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
What a nice fella. I don't want to talk about global warming all night long. Was he talking about global warming?
I think he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to. It's depressing.
It kind of, yeah. But, and finally,
Oh, yeah.
nothing we do is going to make the slightest bit of difference because the three countries that are going to cause most of it, and they won't stop, are the United States, China, and India. Now, the US won't stop because it's just like they're kind of like a stroppy teenager. We've got it all and we don't want to give up anything. The White House offered a cool response to the review, acknowledging that it was a contribution to the study of global warming, but declining to endorse its findings. Analysts in Washington said the report demonstrated the difficulty of forecasting the economic impact of climate change. When it comes to the science of climate change, we hear a lot about consensus, but the consensus argument disappears when you move into the economic cost of global warming. You can find almost as many benefits as you can costs. One of the benefits is when all the ice melts in the poles, they'll be able to drill down more easily and get all the oil that's under there, thereby creating more profit for the big American oil companies. There's something to look forward to. China faces a grave environmental crisis of its own, but is also potentially the greatest contributor to global warming because of the size of its population and the rise of its economy. It produces a sixth of the carbon dioxide emissions per head of population that the United States does, but if its economic growth continues and its emissions per head come to match America's, it would, are you ready, require an entirely new planet to sustain it. Just China.
Great.
India did not react officially to the report, but experts blamed the West for any potential environmental collapse. And they're right. We did it. We've caused the problem that if you accept that there is a problem and that the human race caused it, we caused it.
Yeah.
Principally us, because we started the Industrial Revolution, and now these the other two countries, and you know, Africa, and you could say the Sandy area as well, they're all coming up, and they want their own Industrial Revolution too. They want their MTV, and the easiest way to get it is to use the cheap methods of power and construction that's made us all have freezers.
So, how long have we got?
Not long. Because now we're telling them that they can't do what we
Have
did
already done.
to get to the state that we're in now.
Yeah.
Don't do as we did.
But
Do
realistically...
as we say. And they're not going to do that. Why should they? Well, you could say that because to save us all. But that's just absolutely not going to happen. And if we stop producing all carbon, if tomorrow everybody in this country stopped using electricity, grew their own food, gave up heating and gas and all of that, then in a week the increase from China and India would completely wipe that out. So it really doesn't make any difference what we do.
No. But would it make any difference even if everybody stopped it now? I mean, has it not gone past a point in any case?
Well, you know what? They've got no idea. I mean, consider this. They're saying that in 50 years, the ice caps will have melted, London will be underneath water, and they're predicting all of these very precise situations that are going to occur if global warming continues. Can they predict the weather tomorrow? No, they cannot. They can't accurately, can they? Unless the weather is very static, like it has been. It's been lovely, just lately,
Really
hasn't
nice,
it?
yeah.
Bright, crisp, clear days, the leaves turning, and it's just been really lovely. But if it's changeable weather, they got no idea. You look at the BBC website for the 5-day forecast, and it changes every day. They've got no clue. They're completely guessing. And El Nino makes it even more complicated. Basically, the biggest computer, if you hooked all the computers in the whole wide world together, they still wouldn't be able to figure out the weather because it's so devilishly complicated. And so if they can't tell us with accuracy what's going to happen next week, how on earth do they expect us to believe that they know what's going to happen in 50 years' time? That's just laugh out loud funny, isn't it?
Yes, but they're not really doing it just on the weather, are they?
Winter prediction by the Met Office. Over much of the European region, the situation is now finally balanced. This is the Met Office's prediction of winter.
Right.
The millions and millions of pounds that we spend on the Met Office, this is their long-range forecast, not of 50 years' time, just of winter. This winter here, right?
Right.
The situation is now finally balanced, with approximately even chance that the winter will be colder or warmer than average.
Great. So that's really specific.
That's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's either going to be
cold
or warm, yes. But we're definite...
Not rainy, though.
But we're definite that it'll be one of the two. And here, with confidence, they say that this winter will be one of the warmest on record. Doesn't feel that way right now.
No, but it was 2 weeks ago.
Freezing it is right now.
Yeah.
Temperatures dropped to 2 centigrade over much of Britain overnight. I think it was even colder than that last night because there was a real thick frost this morning, wasn't there?
Yeah.
If you didn't set your heating to wake up before you did, then there was much pain and chattering of teeth before your porridge was ready this morning, right? You got up to a freezing cold room. I hate that.
I didn't, no. I set mine.
Oh, well, get you.
Because it said risk of ice when I was driving home last night. So I thought, right, I'm not waking up to this.
They say that there could be a few more cold snaps early in the new year. However, the combined effect of climate change and the warming winds of El Nino are likely to help push up temperatures in the build-up to Christmas. Much of Britain is also likely to remain dry. Hooray! Let's have one in Selsdon. Alex.
Hello, Nick. You alright?
I am.
Good. About the James Bond thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very, very glad that you like Daniel Craig as Bond. Because, I've not seen him in much, but I thought he was brilliant in Layer Cake as the nameless, main guy. Have you seen Layer Cake?
I have, and you know what? The only thing I remember is that they killed someone with an iron. I don't remember anything else about that film.
That's quite ingenious, though. He got ironed to death. I like that.
It was unpleasant, to say the least. But no, he's
but ingenious.
He's properly good in this. It's, to me, he looks for the first time like James Bond. Not even Sean Connery looked more like James, because Sean Connery was also a bit, I don't know, he's a bit too stylish. This guy looks like he kills people for a living.
Excellent.
Which is what James Bond is actually supposed to do, right?
And they gave him a load of stick for supposedly being the first blonde Bond, didn't they?
Oh, God, who cares what his hair colour is like? We're not having sex with him, we're just watching him on the screen.
I thought Roger Moore, when he was getting on a bit, had a little bit of a tint going on and went a little bit blonde, didn't he, in Moonraker and whatnot?
Yeah, that rings a bell, yeah. Roger Moore is blonde, isn't he?
He looks a bit
Blondish.
strawberry gingerish.
Mousy,
you know?
yeah.
And you're quite right that his films were pretty much a comedy with a few action scenes thrown in.
Yeah, but enjoyable nonetheless. But it wasn't James
great fun.
Bond, it was something else. You know, if you read the books, and it's such a long time since I read them, but my impression is that the films have got absolutely nothing to do with the books at all. They're much sort of harder and sparser.
What I wanted to ask you, if you know, about this movie, Casino... What's it called?
Casino Royale.
Right. Is it an English or a British-made film, or is it an American film with a British lead actor?
No, it comes across like a British film.
Oh. Well, I don't know if it is, but
I think the Broccolis, because it's Cubby Broccoli's daughter who does it now. I think she's American, isn't she? Well, with a name like that, you'd assume so. I'm not sure, because there's two producers, because they gave us a lavish book which just went into great detail about every tiny little thing about the movie. And I think there's two producers. I think the director is British, and the actors are mostly British, apart from the villains, of course. In an American movie, the villains would be English.
Yeah, of course, Alan Rickman in Die Hard and whatnot.
Yeah, which was one of the great villains of all time.
Countless Hollywood villains.
Yeah, because
we're very strong home counties accent.
Yeah, well, we're the only subgroup left that you can actually paint as psychopaths.
That's right. You do that with blacks or Jews
or anybody. Yeah,
over the coals, right?
Yes, exactly.
What I wanted to say as well, did you see Jules Holland last night?
Taped it.
You did?
Not seen it yet.
Muse were fantastic.
Muse are fantastic.
I've got their DVD from about 5 years ago when the lead guy was only about 22.
That's not the Absolution one, is it?
No, it's before that. It's the Hullabaloo tour.
Because there's one that they filmed at Glastonbury.
Oh, he's wearing a white coat like a crazy scientist.
And it's one of the most irritating videos I've ever seen in my life, because I saw it when they showed it live-ish, when they were doing the Glastonbury coverage. And
which they cut for a news break. And I went insane.
That's what you want to see while you're watching that, yes.
I went temporarily insane.
Yeah.
Halfway through one of their slower, really moving songs, which is about atheism and dying and how religion is a folly. They cut to the news. I couldn't believe it.
That sounds right. Yeah, but the director of that, it was a woman director. She must have had I don't know, some sort of like the Shakes or something, because no camera lingered for more than about a second throughout the entire performance, and your eye couldn't rest on any image. It was cut, and I took it back. I couldn't watch it. So that was very, very irritating, because it looked like one of the best concerts of all time. But you couldn't see it because the director was insane.
Yeah. Did you? I'm going to sound like such a train spotter, and I'm not a 15-year-old girl, which is their. I don't know. They've got a big support amongst. I don't know. They're massive.
Muse.
Muse. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that's the kind of music that girls would like.
Well, you'd be surprised. The ones that don't
it's a bit
like
loud,
like
isn't
Muse.
it?
Yeah, it's very. I know. That's what they did at Glastonbury. Is when they finished one of their tunes, they did a great long jam that was about 8 minutes long, improvised. And what actually happened is the drummer's father had a heart attack.
Well, it's not funny because he died.
Eh?
It's not funny because he died.
He actually. Oh well, that's a crying shame.
Yeah.
I know it was loud. People were falling over, and they were headliners, weren't they? I just think I was glad to see that album went to #1, because it's a long time since they actually come out and started trying to break the country and get some sales.
Yeah, it's very, very good indeed. It's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
It's a bit over the top. It's a bit crazy in parts, but I like that.
Their Origin of Symmetry was nuts as well. There's a track on that wouldn't sound out of place on Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
It's a little bit Queen, it's a little bit rock and roll, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right, listen.
Anyway, if you've got that Sky Plus, or whatever you've done with it, check that out. They did a blinding performance on Jules Holland, and after that I fell asleep, because guess who was on? Niles Barkley.
They're great. Chrysalis artistes.
He's a cracking singer.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
All right. Listen, thanks a lot, Alex.
All right, ta-da, Nick.
Ta-da. It sounds like a conversation that students would have in their kitchen. We used to talk about global warming. We used to warm ourselves in the kitchen at the Students' Union by putting the oven on.
Oh yeah,
because the electricity was included in the rent. So we'd put the gas rings on and the oven, leave the oven open just to warm the kitchen with the window open, with smoke billowing out, and we'd talk about the universe and all sorts of conversations like that.
My mum still, she until recently when I changed it to electric, she still used to do that. We got her central heating, but she still would heat the house with the oven, gas oven, door open, and waiting for it to blow up one day.
Great. Well, there's something to look forward to. Your insurance has just been cancelled. This is LBC.
Nick Abbott.
It's happening. It's wild. And it's now.
Hey, Tallulah. How's your parrot?
Oh, he is cool because he's seen a lot of happy people in London today. A lot of policemen seen my budgie today.
Hey, did you go on that march that 2468?
I started at Regent Street where I wanted to meet the town crier, who I missed again, of course, because I was late.
So you did go on that march?
No. And then a policeman said I should walk, blah, 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 and I passed Trafalgar Square where it was just about to finish.
Because there was a march through central London, mate, with a lot of people who were very upset about the weather. And they were carrying weather symbols.
Oh,
Did you see any of that?
Well, no, was it the same, the thing with the Trafalgar Square, or was it different?
A lot of hippies wearing sandals, carrying weather symbols on posts.
Oh, that's different.
And they were increasing in temperature as the line went on. It was like 25 degrees and sunny, 30 degrees and sunny, 41 degrees and sunny, as the crowd went back. And there were bongo drums, and a good time was had by all. And then they went to, with great good feeling, they went into Trafalgar Square, and then Razorlight played.
Oh, no!
So it was that one, yeah.
They're not Chrysalis artists, are they? Razorlight.
You asking me?
If they are,
Don't
everyone
think
should immediately rush out and buy one of their CDs.
But you have to admit, London is a fantastic buzzing place when things go on like that.
I emerged out of the tube, and the parade was going on, and I needed to cross the road at that point in order to go to work, because I play loud rock music, and I couldn't get across the road because there was a parade, and the police won't let you. And I thought, oh great, I'm going to be stuck here with a cooling coffee in my hand, and my show's going to be starting without me. But it was a very short parade, I think.
Yeah, but massive. I mean, I was there about 4 o'clock. Trafalgar Square was just like exploding, was full of people.
Oh, there were a lot of people there, were there? Because the parade looked... Or maybe I just caught the back end of it.
Well, I don't know what you saw. I only know what I saw, and that was massive.
Right.
It was just not being able to see a thing in the hay.
Did Ken show up?
I didn't. I just passed by to go to the next place where I was trying to search for the town crier, but it was quite difficult to get through the crowd all over the place, from Regent Street through to Trafalgar Square.
What town crier?
You don't know? Peter the town crier.
Who's that?
Who's that? He sometimes calls you. He's the official town crier of London, mate.
I've never heard of him.
He says
Peter in Wandsworth.
Yeah,
You have spoken to
You're
him.
saying that like I would remember.
Oh, come on, man. You should be a culture. What's that? Queen? Town crier?
Yeah, I know what a town crier is. We've still got one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yay. Well, you should have said, oh, yay, right.
He recently has been in my hometown, Hanover,
Right.
Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to pass on the message.
What, no phones there?
No, he's cool. He's a Van Halen fan. there's a picture of him with David Lee Roth.
David
Yeah,
Lee
of course.
Roth, yes.
Yowza.
Groovy.
Yeah. So, but London is buzzing. I tell you.
It sounds like you're buzzing.
Well, yeah, I'm still
Climbing the walls. You're thrilled.
Yeah, man.
So did you see Razorlight?
Well, I think I missed them because I
Well,
did not go there.
deliberately. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Boring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are they boring?
Well, no, a lot of people don't think so. Which is where I, differ from a lot of people. But anyway, Tallulah, I'm going to ask you to pause there because we have to go. All right?
Okay.
Do you have anything else, or shall we just wrap it up?
Oh, yeah, one more.
Okay, she's got something else.
I took the insult.
Am I not one of her favourite men?
No.
All right.
Feeling sad now.
Just waiting for the tune to kick in. Okay, the papers are in. Hooray! The Guardian today gave away dinosaur stickers.
Excellent. Have you been collecting them?
Well,
You've started now.
well, no, there's a whole sheet of them.
Oh,
What a curious thing to do.
it's good for the children.
Well, I'm thinking of what can I do with them, but where can an adult stick dinosaur stickers?
On the fridge.
No, I'm renting.
You're not.
I'm not renting the fridge. I'm renting the flat that the fridge is in, not my fridge. Plus, I'm not going to stick dinosaur stickers on the fridge. What am I,
Why?
5?
Well, but there's no other place in the house as an adult that you could put them and get away with it, is there,
Yeah,
really?
I suppose so.
Whereas you could almost do it as novel effect. Maybe, on the fridge. Hey, and people go, oh, look at your dinosaur stickers on your fridge.
Right, let's go through them. The Observer.
Boring.
Yeah. I'll just...
Is it all boring?
Put that... Well, all right.
The trouble is, you know what? Because you say it's boring every week, I feel most curious about the Observer.
Well, the entire front page, cancer patients turn to internet for cheap drugs.
Well, that's been happening for a while, hasn't it?
Brown outlines his vision for an X-Factor Britain. He'll make an audacious bid to show himself as the unbeatable Prime Minister in waiting this week, with a remarkable series of meetings with foreign leaders, and launch a groundbreaking aid initiative backed by the Pope.
Okay.
Are we interested yet?
No. What about the supplement?
Inside, from Robben Island to the red carpet, a new film about apartheid era is winning accolades. But the inspirational story of its hero is even more astonishing.
But you're deliberately reading it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, all right. I'll turn the page and I'll read the next page excitedly. All right.
Okay.
Lords say bad teaching of science blights British future.
Boring.
Halifax faces boycott over Christmas hamper crash.
On the floor.
The Sunday Times. Doesn't that look clean and spacious?
Sorry.
See, that front page... Does anybody buy the Observer? I mean, in any great numbers? I know the Sunday Times is bought by everyone who doesn't buy the News of the World. Murdoch's completely cleaned up. But what amount of numbers buy the Observer? Because the front page, cancer patients turn to internet for cheap drugs. I mean, Front page of the Sunday Times, the big doctors let us kill disabled babies. I mean, that screams at you off the front page, doesn't it? Awful. They're giving away a free CD of ROM of your family tree.
Oh, that I think's boring.
Yeah. Who wants to know?
I saw that in one of the papers today as well. Oh, all the time.
Nothing much. I think it's, there's only the end of the world to contemplate, so it's obviously a slow news week. The Daily Mail, free DV... The front page of the Daily Mail is the busiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's my eyeballs need a rest just looking at it. A free DVD inside of Mrs. Santa Claus, starring Angela Lansbury? Oh, come on! Get that guy who sounded like he was so close to death back on the phone, because he'll definitely want to. This is right up his street. Spy in the Sky boss admits tax will soar. At least half of English households face huge council tax increases under a nationwide reassessment of property values by a Big Brother computer. Why has Who Wants to Be a Millionaire suddenly become so difficult? We phoned our friends in the quiz world, and they say that the correct answer is D. Chris Tarrant has just completed a PhD. Oh no, the show's paid out 1.3 million. Why has Who Wants to Be a Millionaire suddenly become so difficult? The Daily Mail says it's because the show has paid out £1.3 million in prize money and is running out of cash.
What? How can it be running out of money?
So they're saying that now the questions are more difficult.
Has it only given away 1.8 million?
1.3, it says.
Sorry, in total?
It's a question that Chris Tarrant is unlikely to pose on primetime TV. Are the questions on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire getting harder? For seasoned quiz enthusiasts who watch the show regularly, the answer is a resounding yes. Players believe that Celador, which makes the hit show for ITV, has been introducing trickier questions to stop contestants from winning big money because its prize fund is dwindling.
I can't believe
Celador? They've got all the money that the Pope doesn't own, don't they?
And also, if we look at how many times that programme has been on, and how much money you could win, it's ridiculous. And how much you pay each time you even ring in to apply. It's sort of 40p, isn't it?
How many millionaires have they actually made? It's like 3, isn't it? Some pitifully small amount. I actually got the book, or somebody else got the book, and as you do, you went through the £1 million questions just to see if you knew any. And I knew one!
Yay!
It was something that seemed blindingly easy. To anyone who knows anything about jazz music, and it was, what instrument did Chet Baker play? Well, any fool will know that, apart from people what don't like jazz.
Like me.
Yeah, it's like saying, what instrument does Paul McCartney play?
Could you give me an ABCD guess?
Yes, the answer is trumpet.
Oh, you ruined it!
Well, you'd be just wildly stabbing in the dark, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's boring when you have to play when you're given the answer.
Like a ride on public transport, wildly stabbing in the dark. The fund is made from premium rate phone lines. People call in to become contestants, topped up with a contribution from ITV. Contribution? Well, this show must cost hundreds of thousands to buy per episode, right? If not £1 million. This is gigantic money spinner.
That's why I'm amazed they haven't given away more money.
It's even been suggested that ITV have put pressure on Celador to make the questions harder after a civil servant, Ingram Wilcox, won £1 million on September the 23rd. But when people win £1 million, the audience figures go through the roof.
Do they still now?
Must do.
Because
they flag it up ahead of time. So watching this show is utterly, utterly pointless. Because you watch the show in order to see people win a great deal of money, right?
Yeah.
It will never come as a surprise. You will always know beforehand when people win big, because they will tell you about it.
Yeah.
Therefore, it makes it pointless to watch the show.
But they're only doing it so that they then get good audience figures.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Already this series, producers have paid out £1.34 million in prizes in just 4 shows, and there are another 18 to come. In the whole of the last series, the 19th series, the total paid was £2 million. So
right, so that's more.
1.34, 4 shows in.
Oh, I see. Well...
So, according to this, the rest of the series, but no one's going to win anything at all. People are going to be stumbling over what is your name.
That's bad luck, isn't it?
Tarrant said to have been asked at the National Television Awards last week if the questions have been getting harder, but he denied it. Both Celador and ITV have dismissed claims as categorically untrue. Here's a selection of the questions. All right, here you go.
Oh, no.
A selection of the questions asked at the £32,000 mark during this series. This is before the £1 million win.
Okay, have I got 3 lifelines?
Which plant takes its name from the Chinese meaning man, as its forked root resembles a man's legs? Aloe, ginseng, dandelion, or witch hazel? I won't look at the answer. Well, which plant has got a forked root?
Aloe?
Aloe. B. Ginseng. Aloe, dandelion and witch hazel are not Chinese words. Which gemstone is traditionally associated with the 45th wedding anniversary? Sapphire, ruby, pearl or crystal? That's just one that you either know or you don't know. You can't work that out, can you?
Well,
Which
I know-
gemstone is traditionally associated with the
I know it's not
45th
ruby.
wedding anniversary?
Oh, maybe it is ruby.
Sapphire, ruby, pearl or crystal?
Crystal.
The answer is A, sapphire. You're awful at this.
Is that just an extra beep just to make me feel worse?
Well, this is representing the easier questions
Oh.
before he won the £1 million. Now here are the more difficult questions. I might as well even not bother. This is after he won the £1 million. Which of these actors starred in the 1933 film Flying Down to Rio? Mickey Rooney, Jack Buchanan, Fred Astaire or Nelson Eddy? All right, I don't think it was Fred Astaire. I don't know who Jack Buchanan is. Nelson Eddy. I'm saying Mickey Rooney.
I'm going for D.
You're going for Nelson Eddy.
Yeah.
Answer? Fred Astaire. Oh. And Henrietta Maria, wife of King Charles I, was born in which country? Truth. You have to be Simon Sharma to answer this. Henrietta Maria, wife of King Charles I, was born in which country? France, England, Italy, Spain.
Henrietta, what was her surname?
Maria.
And the countries?
France, England, Italy, Spain.
Spain.
Maria.
Spain.
Spain. No.
Italy.
France.
Oh.
Maria is a name more traditionally associated with Spain. It was a trick question. The correct
Especially
answer
when you put emphasis on it.
is France. Yeah. So, anyway, who cares?
I never wanted to go on it anyway.
The peephole. Well, we better get to that last, I think, because, you know, yeah.
Save the best.
The Sunday Mirror. My Hell with Corrie Cheat by Johnny Briggs, wife of 30 years. Who's Johnny Briggs? Mike Baldwin. He's just like Mike Baldwin. At 71, he's dumped me to bed a new lover of 29. Is that guy 71 years old?
Johnny Briggs. Am I thinking of the same person?
Mike Baldwin.
Oh.
Will she fancy him when he's drunk and sprawled on the kitchen table, his false teeth on the floor?
Yes, of course she will.
Like the Paul McCartney, Heather McCartney thing. He was 160 and she was 22. Who knew that wouldn't work?
Steve Allen. Nick Abbott.
Come on, we're running late.
Okay, this Mike Baldwin feller. My Hell with Corrie Cheat by his wife of 30 years. And where would the papers be without, men cheating on the women, what they've been with for, They just get bored, don't they? Saturday was duty night, she said. Duty in inverted commas. At 9 p.m. sharp, we'd have sex. Then he'd turn the TV on and say, great timing, as the film began.
Did the film begin at 9 as well?
9:05.
Just after the ads have finished.
That's awful. And there it is, spread before us. Their horrible life. For your Sunday morning amusement. There it is, the Sunday Mirror. Bond blasts back at his critics. I've been taunted and bullied, he said. Bond? That bloke? I would find it very difficult to believe that that bloke would be taunted and bullied. It says, I've been taunted about my big ears. Ask anyone who's been bullied. It hurts, he says.
That's going to ruin the image, saying that, isn't it?
Apparently he can't even drive a manual car.
Oh, see? That you don't think he's so tough now?
He said, well, I got the Aston up to 170 miles an hour and flogged the arse off it, he said.
Oh.
That Aston Martin, I'm telling you what, I want to... have you seen that car? Oh, I want to rip my clothes off and throw myself on its bonnet.
Cars don't do it.
It is ravishing.
Is it?
Yes. He got seasick on a powerboat. Oh, these are the taunts. This is not the truth. These are the taunts.
Oh, I see.
He said no, he didn't. He didn't. He got...
Oh, I see. So he can drive a
Right.
manual car, can
He says he got queasy on that boat in the Thames. The taunt is that he's too short.
And
Good
now you're going to tell me
grief.
he's 8'9".
He's 5'6".
He's not.
It's
He
what
is
it
short.
says here.
That is short.
That's short for a man.
He looks
isn't it?
way taller than that in the film. Oh, but that's the
You see
that's
what-
the magic of Hollywood.
And then I've employed everybody else to make sure that they were about 5'2".
That's extraordinary. I can't believe that. 5'6". Huh. But then, you know, if you didn't know better, you'd think that Tom Cruise was a 6-footer. Let's just take this one here, because you've been waiting forever, and I'll get to more of these in a moment. Tony.
Morning, how are you? Excuse me.
God.
Right, I was going to have a rant, but as you mentioned millionaire, I've rung that show up about 800 or 900 times over the years. I've never been called back once.
Right.
I know someone that's an expert on the Titanic. He was called back. He was asked how long the Titanic was. He knew to the recognised foot and wasn't called back. And I know somebody else that went on there, how tall is... You know, they were called back. The question was, the second question, how tall is the tallest tree in the world? She went 180 foot as a guess. It was 320 and she got on the programme. So, I'm not saying anything, but...
You've said enough.
Sounds a bit dodgy. Anyway, the rant was, bonfire night. What does that celebrate or remember?
A plan to engage in mass murder.
Yeah, and who was in charge of it?
What, is this like 20 questions now?
No, go on. Go on. Who was in charge of it?
Oh, some guy.
Guy Fawkes. Was he Bengali? No, he wasn't. So why in Victoria Park in the East End was firework night display turned into one with a Bengali theme?
With a tiger? Oh, I don't know, that sounds charming.
So Middle England has got to get a spy in and vote Labour out.
Okay.
I mean...
With his last dying breath. Thanks a lot, Tony.
Yeah, cheers.
Ta-da. Another satisfied customer. I don't know, that sounded quite nice. I went to a fireworks display. I think it was on Bonfire Night. It was like in the middle of... I think they did some sort of arts festival out in some park that you normally wouldn't go to without armed guards. And it was, I don't know what they were doing. Like, women would be flying on ropes attached to cranes and all sorts of weirdness. But I think that sounded more or less like what they were doing there. They were trying to do some sort of artsy-fartsy thing around firework display, just to give, family entertainment, as opposed to setting fire to what looked like, burning a man on a pile of wood, which is not very nice, is it?
Yeah, but... Oh, well, there is history attached to it, which is the point, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a horrible history.
Yeah. But, yeah. It is. But lots of people enjoy fireworks nights.
Well,
don't
fireworks that we enjoy.
The fireworks. They
Yeah.
enjoy the
It's like
bonfire
Christmas.
too.
Christmas has got nothing to do with what Christmas is actually about.
No. They just want their presents.
Yeah.
And their mince pies and turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pizza.
Pizza for you. Mm-mm.
The Sunday Telegraph. Free hybrid tea roses.
What?
They're giving away roses.
Wait. Oh, right, okay.
You're speechless.
Well,
3 in 4 young black men on the DNA database. Fury at Goldsmith vow to advise on... Discord over a diminuendo for live music on Radio 3. Secret plans have been initiated at BBC Radio 3 to overhaul its schedules and slash the amount of... Oh, people don't like change. That's just... I'll put that in the same pile as The Observer. Sunday Express, free inside, brand new CD of Jamie Cullum.
Oh, you'll like that.
Well, this is what they were giving away last week. It's one of the few things that I've ever seen a newspaper give away that a person would actually want and play. You know, mostly it's the greatest hits of a band that you would pay not to hear. Like the greatest hits of The Temptations, or I don't know, The Temptations is a bad choice. The greatest hits of the Righteous Brothers, or, you know. It's just stuff that they play on gold stations because nobody wants to buy it anymore. That's the kind of thing that they give away. Things that are out of copyright, yeah. Yeah, dull. But Jamie Cullum, he's good, he is. New war on yob families. Britain's neighbours from hell are to be thrown into sin bins to make them behave. 50 intensive family support centres are to be built to house problem families. Jobs who blight the lives of our communities will be subject to round-the-clock supervision and tough curfew orders. Mothers and fathers will be taught how to control their children, who are often running wild in the streets. Drug addict parents will be ordered to quit and forced to undergo weekly drug tests to show they've stayed clean. It seems blindingly obvious to me that what you don't do with someone who's, breaking windows and smashing things and generally not helping in society. If in society we are a boat, most of us are all pulling in the same direction. Most of us stop at red lights. Most of us don't kill people on the tube just so they look at it as wrong. Most people are, helping each other out, even if not directly personally, then just by, just behaving in a socially responsible way. So, in other words, we're all rowing together.
Right.
Because if we are a boat, then the goal is to get to this shiny horizon together and in one piece. Some of the people in the back of the boat aren't helping at all. Some of the people in the back of the boat are not only not rowing, they're actually digging holes in the boat so that the water's coming in. They're trying to sink us all. They're not helping. Now, if we were actually in a boat, if there were 50 of us, and that was the end of the human race, and that was the actual situation that we were in, what would we do with the people in the back of the boat?
Push them out.
Yeah, or eat them.
Oh. Okay.
One of the two. We'd get rid of them, wouldn't we?
You could fish, though, couldn't you? Oh, no. All the cod's dried
yeah,
up.
cod's gone. Sorry about that. Fish is off.
Okay, eat them.
But we're not in a boat, so let's not go there. But what would be handy, instead of giving them an ASBO or giving them a little fine or putting them in prison for 3 months, which is just... It's not going to stop them doing it. You're taking care of them, giving them 3 hot meals a day and removing them from any responsibility for 3 months is not going to help, is it?
What you could do
is give them a toothbrush and tell them to clean the graffiti off everything in your street. Give them a little knife and tell them to get the chewing gum off the road. Put them in a bright orange boiler suit and actually make them work it off.
But then again, if you go back to your boat analogy and say there were 3 naughty people at the end who were putting the holes in the boat, I might redistribute them throughout the boat to nice people, and they might encourage them to stop them behaving like that, which is where you can kind of see the nice side coming in. Maybe the encouragement rather than just the smacking. No?
I think you've got something there. But I think as a society we can't be bothered with any of that. Let's just go back to the smacking. Is this the poshest house in America? Maybe not yet, but it will be if Victoria and David get their way. They're going to buy a house in Beverly Hills. Right next door to Tom and Katie. Sir Paul breaks silence to talk of his sadness. Paul McCartney has broken his silence on his bitter divorce battle to claim that he holds no grudges against Heather Mills, the former Beatle battling to save his reputation and his £800 million fortune. What is he going to do with that money? Why has he still got that much money? What's the point of having £800 million? Why doesn't he do what Warren Buffett is doing? Why doesn't he do what that guy who's ruined our lives with all these computers is doing? Giving
Bill?
all of his money... Yeah, Bill. Wouldn't you like to throttle Bill once in a while? Every time it says
Are you
error...
having a go at Macca again?
Yes. Why doesn't he give some of that away? Like, half, for
Why
instance.
should
or
he?
3/4. Well, what's he going to do with it? What could you possibly do with £800 million?
Well, he should give, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Nice Guy should start throwing it around a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he says that he wants us all to respect their privacy and let them divorce in private. Yeah, right. That's what's going to happen. What? Oh, I thought you were saying something in me headphones.
Oh, it might have been Alex.
Oh,
Actually,
right.
You can keep
Gotta
going.
go.
You can keep going.
For how long?
Oh, 29:45.
29:45. The Daily Star. Our stalker hell. Stars targeted by nutters, it says on the front page. It's another X Factor story. They must have, who's the white-haired guy that puts all of the stories in the papers? I think he's personally responsible for Simon Cowell. You know, the publicist.
Max Clifford?
Max Clifford must be on the X Factor. I bet it's him. 29?
45.
Oh, 45. Oh, there was a big end. But it must be. And not a day goes by without an X Factor story in the newspaper. So whoever is the publicist for the X Factor is an absolute, flat-out genius. And we should get him on the green tax thing, because people will be complaining.
9090
Hi, honey. How are you?
This is insane. All of the red top tabloids are leading with X Factor stories, and they've each got a different one.
Oh. I suppose it's only exciting if you watch X Factor.
They're ramping this up like I can't remember anything that dominates the press quite as much as this, and it's such a fantastically silly show. So the publicist, whoever it is an absolute genius. I bet it is Max Clifford.
Probably.
Because what he's done is he's called up each newspaper and said, "Boy, have I got an exclusive for you." But they've come up with a different story for each newspaper.
Oh, that's great.
And they've all gone with it. Mostly
Are they actually good stories?
Mostly on the front page. Well, I just gave you the Our Stalker Hell.
Well, yeah.
Anybody in the entertainment business has got some kind of stalker, right? I mean, you just have to put your head above the parapet, and some nut will attach themselves to you, either for good or ill, you know, as is, whichever is the case. So that's no kind of story. I mean, they could have just made that up. I'm not saying that they did, but it could have been. The Peephole has got X Factor Anthony, jail and booze agony. X Factor favourite Anthony Hanna. If you watch it, he's the guy who looks weirdly, bizarrely, skinnily, kind of like, I don't know, is it a boy? Is it a girl? We've got absolutely no idea.
Have we got a picture?
Yeah, I'll give you a peek later on.
Okay.
X Factor favourite Anthony Hanna is hiding a double agony from millions of fans. His father was a jailbird robber, and his mother was an alcoholic. Both were missing for most of their son's talented childhood. And on it goes inside. They must just line them up and say, right, just write down on a piece of paper everything that could possibly be remotely interesting, and we'll whether you like it or not. Yeah, exactly. In the news of the world, I'm an ex-sex-mad cocaine addict.
Next.
Star Ben confesses the lot. How he got helplessly hooked after just one sniff. How soon he couldn't go without taking it. What a miserable wreck it turned him into. And on and on and on and on it goes. Painful. So that's the papers this morning. There's nothing in them. Red Hill. Hello, Sven.
Hello.
Sven.
Yeah, good evening. About the Guy Fawkes.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, why shouldn't people basically let off fireworks and whatever, for whatever reason? Due to Guy Fawkes, why should we have tigers when it's a British tradition?
'Cause it's nice.
Why is it nice? Why is it nice? We don't all have tigers, do we?
No, but we don't all burn people at the stake either.
Oh yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Oh, well, forget it then. You're making a lot of sense. Thanks, Sven. Here's one in Edmonton. Beverly.
Hello, Nick.
Beverly.
Hi. Yes. I just want to, touch on what you said about the 800 million that this guy still has. And I was thinking, if he gives her the interest of that alone, he'll still have 800 million, won't he?
If you had 10 million,
Yeah.
then the interest that you get on that, you'd probably be able to organise yourself 10%, right? If you had 10 million pounds and you put it into some kind of organisation, you could get your accountant to put it offshore somewhere you get 10%. That's £1 million a year.
That's right.
Now that's plenty.
It is, but if he's got 800 million and he gives her the interest of the 800 million, he would still have 800 million, won't he?
Yes.
So why can't he do that?
If he had 800 million and he lived off the interest of the 800 million, he'd
Gave
still
Heather
have...
Mills the 800. If he gave Heather Mills the
Yeah.
interest of the 800 million pounds,
Right.
he would still end up with 800 million pounds, won't he?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That would be a lot of interest, wouldn't it?
I'm sure she's interested.
I'm sure I would be interested.
Yeah, me too. But, you know, as a wife, you're entitled to 50%.
Right.
I'd rather have the 400 million. That's what I'd be going for.
Exactly.
I'd have sex with Paul McCartney for 400 million pounds.
But considering she's only married to him for they were together for 4 years, I would have thought that was, you know, more than plenty.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And I don't mean to sound nasty, but I mean, if she's haggling like that with one leg, what would she do if she had 2 legs?
Is this you not meaning to sound nasty?
I'm not meaning to sound nasty.
Right.
It's just a very bad joke, perhaps.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Beverly.
Right,
I'm going to give you a show on the BBC, all right?
Okay.
You'll fit right in. So where are we now?
That's it.
Do you know the...
Have you done all the papers now?
Yeah, I have.
Oh.
Now I only have these stories with which to titillate and amuse. This one I brought in from last week. Brian Blessed. Remember, remind me to talk about Brian Blessed. All right.
Okay.
You won't, will you?
I will. I'm writing it down.
Hey, you
now.
know Steve Irwin was criticised today.
Oh no. Was
Yes.
he? Why?
Steve Irwin. He's still dead, by the way.
I know.
Steve Irwin was a showman, more interested in his own stardom than the animal kingdom, a top wildlife filmmaker said this week. Now, wasn't I saying just exactly that? Sometimes I get tired of being so right all the time. I'll say these things and people will just draw a sharp intake of breath and say, how could he possibly be saying that on the radio? And then a week or so later, everyone will be saying it. And I'll be like, yeah, but, and oh yeah, right, sure you did. I'm way ahead of my time, that's my problem. Steve Irwin was a showman, more interested in his own stardom than in the animal kingdom, a top wildlife filmmaker said yesterday. Steve Irwin used to annoy animals for a living, that's what he used to do. The crocodile hunter may have introduced a lot of people to natural history, but his basic stock in trade was, aren't I brave and aren't animals dangerous? Yet Alastair Fothergill, the head of the BBC's Planet Earth series, which comes back tomorrow, and is absolutely flat out the best thing on television, it is stunning, said the first rule of natural history filmmaking is that you are there to film the animals, natural behaviour, and attacking humans isn't natural, he said. Quite right too. But, you know, people like me say it, and you get phone calls, how dare you, he was a international treasure, and... Well, in the summertime, he said, switching wildly, did you try to save water?
Well, I didn't have a water jobby.
Pardon?
You know, to save all the water.
A butt?
A water butt. No, I didn't have one of those.
Oh, that's right, you live in a house, don't you?
I now live in a house. I didn't, though. I wasn't a flat.
Hey, how's the prosy across the street?
Oh, she's fine.
To sum up, Lucy has moved next to a kebab shop.
No, I've moved from the kebab shop.
A kebab shop on one side, a football ground on the other, and a prostitute across the road.
Not giving too much away. Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
If we keep the window shut at night, we don't hear anything. Yeah. The only trouble is that we're trying not to tell my father-in-law, and sometimes he listens to the show.
Oh.
So we've ruined our area now.
Uh-oh.
Never mind. But it's fine. She's just had a new door fixed, which is good.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there'd been some scribbling.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but it's fine. We're very happy.
Yeah.
And we've started stripping the wallpaper now.
Well, there's
a much more positive
lot of
note.
stripping going on around your area, yeah.
Yes.
There's no end of it, yes.
Yeah. But it's a nice area apart from that. We've done the electric lights, the carpet's coming in this week, and so's the new oven and the hob. So
You're like a whirlwind.
And we finished the curtains last week. I made the curtains with my mother.
You what?
Made the curtains.
It's like a Blue Peter episode over at your place. You made them?
Yeah.
No one makes curtains anymore?
Yes, we saved £70 by making them ourselves. It was about 8 hours to make, but we did it.
Out of what?
Out of the fabric. We went and chose the fabric, bought the lining, Tea towels. We went to a proper curtain shop, bought nice material and did them ourselves.
With a sewing machine?
Yep.
What, like in Victorian days?
Well, I suppose, yes.
Do you also have a card table?
No. No, I don't.
Huh.
But, yeah, it's very satisfying to make your own, I must say.
Yeah, right.
It honestly is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to, it's quite difficult, you know.
I can imagine, yeah.
It's quite a
Are
good
they all wonky?
No. They're not, but they did fall off the next day.
Are you good with, can you do all that, Jazz? Are you proficient with a sewing machine?
My
Because
mum
I've got
does
no
the sewing
end of
machine.
trousers need turning up.
Oh, no.
And that costs 15 quid a go, which is an outrage, as you'll probably agree.
You could do it yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need a sewing machine, you just tack them.
Tack them?
Yeah, at the bottom.
What, with like a staple or something?
No! You could sew them. Do you sew your buttons back on?
I try not to.
Oh. Just buy a new shirt.
Well, then, unless it's in a really obvious place, I'll just let it go.
Even if it's on your cuff? You'd have to do that, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, that would be... well, you could just wear a jumper over it.
No, that's just cheating. I think it's very important that men learn to do the odd button or hole.
Yeah.
Although my husband keeps saying that he's still doing work experience when he's watching me, which I think is a bit of a cop-out.
Well, it's, you know, it's a women's thing, isn't it? Is that an outrageous thing to say?
Well, it is really, yeah, because he says the same thing about when I'm ironing.
Well, it's not like you work for a living.
What a cheek. I just answer the phones.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well be sitting at home. Cup of tea, biscuit, chatting away to your mates. I mean, you're not really doing anything, are you?
Well, I do things.
So anyway, this started with, do you save water? And the answer sounded like a no to me. Because I did. I delivered, because I've got a water meter, but I didn't do it for that reason. I did it because I wanted to pitch in, do my bit to protect the environment.
Very good.
And, yes, and so I switched the water off while showering, which has got a lot more uncomfortable now. It's freezing cold.
You switched the water off.
Yeah, you get
were
wet,
showering.
and then you soap, and then you rinse off, rather than...
You didn't, did you?
I do, yeah. In fact, I still do that now. Even though it's freezing cold now when you turn the water off. It's like sort of Victorian...
And you say I've gone back to
boarding
Victorian
school
times.
showers.
We should just give you a little bucket to stand in.
Yeah, it's like a punishment. But I do it in order to save water. Because if you soap yourself up while the water's running, that's enormous amounts of...
it must be such an unpleasant experience every day for you.
And then I followed Red Ken's advice. If it's yellow...
Oh, no.
If it's yellow, let it
fun in your
mellow.
house.
If it's brown, flush it down. He actually said that. Awful. You believe it? So I did that.
Right. Anything else?
Smells wafting down the corridor. You could find the toilet with your eyes closed.
Oh, no.
With the result that now you could grow potatoes in it loose. Isn't that awful?
That's thoroughly vile. Oh, dear.
I had to get special cleaning products that you had to wear goggles and gloves to get rid of it. Thanks a lot, Ken. So I did all of that, avoided watering the plants.
I can't believe you in the shower.
Yes. And I don't take baths or anything like that. I turn the taps off when I'm brushing my teeth. I was saving water like it was going out of fashion. And do you know what difference it made to my water bill? The amount of water that I used? None at all.
Really?
I paid exactly the same as this time last year.
What about washing your clothes? What did you do there?
Well, stick them in a washing machine. What do you think? I'll go down to the Ganges.
You might have worn them in the shower and washed them at the same time.
Of course not, no. But I can't believe that it made no difference. I was busting a gut to save water over... And you know, in the summer, you let the tap run so that the water will get cold, so you get a nice cold glass of water. Well, I didn't. I would take the first glass that came out of the tap. Warm water I was drinking, Lucy.
Why didn't you buy one of those filter jugs and just popped it in the fridge?
And it made absolutely no difference at all. I was devastated. I was hoping at least to save some money for all the
but if
grief
you're on
and
a water
hardship.
meter, how could you not have saved money?
I've got no idea. I'm suspecting that the entire thing is a con, and the water meters don't actually meter your water usage; they just make it up.
Yeah,
they pull a number out of the
lots of
air.
these sort of little shower jobs. throughout the day?
Just the one. I'm not mad.
But, yeah, it sounds very complicated. But would you wash your hair and soap all at the same time?
Of course.
Right. Okay.
Standing there now, freezing my bosoms off loose.
Oh, it sounds so unpleasant.
Yes, it
really
is.
How could you? When you must have known that the rest of London wasn't doing that.
Yeah, and the rest of London was acting like Rod Stewart. Watering their garden like it was dying
Running
on
in
them.
the garden
Yes.
with it, yeah.
Throwing it down the drains they were. Still, at least I did my bit.
Your endowment policy could be worth more.
And I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
Here's Margate. Hello, John.
Hiya, Nick. All right, mate?
I'm all right.
Good. Lucy just reminded me about my missus who tried to make her curtains last year. Make our own curtains. She came home all proud from the fabric shop. She's at fabric shop. She said, "I'm going to make these." It saved us £60.
Yeah.
She said. They didn't meet in the middle, and they were both different lengths. And we ended up having to go and buy some. That didn't save us any money at all. It cost us. She's a nightmare. Just reminded me what Lucy was saying.
Oh, well. You can always get rid of her.
Oh, I've tried that. She won't go. It's like a bare penny.
I didn't mean that.
Oh.
I mean, there must be some benefits, eh, John?
None that I can think of off the top of my head, no.
Not right now, no.
No. Sure something will come to me if I think
Yeah,
about it.
of course it will, yeah. Like a frying pan, for instance.
Yeah.
Really quickly through the air, yeah. All right, best of luck, John.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
Let's have, what happened to these two? Oh, Lucy's having a chat. A chinwag. Little chit-chat. There's no name on this one. Who is it?
It's Sean in Kent.
Oh, right. Well, you should have said. Sean?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Sean.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Not too bad. Normally I listen to LBC in the morning,
Yeah.
but tonight I'm listening because I've had my finger nearly severed off.
Right, okay. So you're only here because you're ill.
Yes.
So, a great vote of confidence. Thanks a lot,
No,
mate.
not really. It's because normally I'm with my kids who are bonfire night and everything, so...
Oh, yeah. And how did that go?
Yeah, not too bad. I won't tell you the full story because I'd be lying. No, I wouldn't. I'd be telling the truth, and I would be telling the truth because I would not like my children to go on forward with what they done tonight.
Well, you're making a lot of sense.
Basically, they went to a firework night that would normally cost about £4, £5, £6 to get in, and we sent them up there with I only had £1 to give them. I gave them £1 each, and they got in for £1, and would normally be £4.
Right.
And but
Criminals you're raising.
No, that's horrible. How can you say that? That's true, though. They did. And Susan, my wife, said, well, I was like that when I was young. I said, no, you can't say that. We should have went up there as a family. I said, yeah, but we've been blue water today.
How old are they?
Sorry?
How old are they?
9, 10 and 12.
You sent them out on their own?
No. It's a village. It's very small. It's literally, they can walk across the road into the park. And they went up to Bruton Village, and they got into the park. Normally it would cost £6 to see the fireworks. They got in for £1 tonight. When it was
Yeah, you said. So you did send them out on your own?
Yes, I did.
I'm calling social services.
No, please don't.
And how did they find it? Enjoy it?
Absolutely.
Of course.
You know, it was just one of them things. We just had a day of blue water to get their eyes tested, and their glasses done after year before last, so they had their yearly eye test. And
We want all the details. Don't leave anything out.
and they done that, and it was fantastic. And you know, spent blue water. We got there. Their appointment was 2 o'clock. We got there for
He isn't leaving anything out.
say 20 to 1. We got there, and we had a little bit of a walk around. And
Go to the food court, did you?
it was 7 o'clock by the time we got home. Yeah, and they had McDonald's, by the way.
All right, without
We can
mentioning
go for
brand
the
names.
We can go for
McDonald's,
anything else.
yes.
Nothing nice, just simply, yeah, McDonald's will do. And this new jubbly thing they got with McDonald's.
He said, we'll have nothing nice, McDonald's will do. We're going to get sued into a black hole in space.
I was sitting to sleep, and I'm glad of it, because, listen, we listen to LBC every morning. And I don't mean to be sort of rude, but Nick Ferrari, everything, every morning, and whether Nick Ferrari's there or not, every morning is LBC for us, every morning.
Right. Well, you're not being rude. Well, not to him, anyway.
And they get the jokes as well. Can you imagine, they get the jokes, like, and they're that age. That's telling something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's a beautiful family portrait
No,
you're
but isn't
painting
it, though?
for
I
us
mean,
there, Sean.
I mean, my kids guess the jokes on LBC. I mean, if I pick them up in the afternoon, 3:20, and oh, by the way,
After their fag break, yeah.
oh, no, I don't smoke. But I used to smoke. Who speaks in LBC at 3:20?
Ian
Lee.
Ah, and who was speaking for Ian Lee last week?
John Holmes.
Yes, and he was fantastic. My kids just loved him when I was picking up from school. How's that?
Well, it's a vote. It's a vote of confidence.
No, I'd never ring him because
from the 9-year-olds.
But they get his jokes. They get it. It's
Well, everyone's thrilled here. Thanks a lot, Sean. All right.
You're welcome.
Ta-da. It's Bracknell. Joseph.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, mate.
I thought you were doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire there with these questions about who's on an LBC after 3:20 for a minute.
I know, my brain froze.
Anyway, you were talking about you got suckered into the saving water this summer, and I have a theory as to why your bill wasn't any lower than last year.
Go on.
Didn't they raise the water rates a couple of times since last year?
No, well, no, I allowed for that because I looked at the amount of water that I'd used.
Oh,
because they delineate that on the bill. They tell you what you've got through, and it was exactly the same. I was stunned.
Not the bill itself, but
no, not the amount of money, which was slightly higher, but the amount of water I got through was the same, which makes me think either I'm connected up to the wrong water meter, or that entire thing is a total con, and they'll just charge you the same amount no matter what you use.
Is there any other way that you use the water that might have balanced out for what you were supposedly saving?
Well, not really. No. Because I still use the dishwasher and I still wash my clothes, just like I did last year, but I was, falling over myself. Smelling I was.
Sneaking glasses of water behind your back?
No, I didn't drink an extra couple of glasses of water a day. That wouldn't have made any difference.
Well,
no, I was outraged.
I didn't change any of my behavior.
Well, good. Thanks for joining in.
I don't waste a lot of water anyway. So. But are you getting caught up in the whole climate change hysteria?
Hysteria. Not really. You know what? It's going to happen or it isn't, and there's nothing that we can really do about it because any contribution that we personally make is going to make such an infinitesimally small difference to the overall position. It's like, well, why even bother?
So you don't think like Gordon Brown and his cronies taking more of our money is going to help reduce carbon emissions?
Let me think about that for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Myself and my husband.
I don't know whether I should, I don't know whether I should. Do you think I should? Oh, let's do Brian Blessed first, and then I'll do the story that I think, The actor Brian Blessed said that modern theatre left him bored and that today's actors were no match for those of his youth. The 69-year-old Yorkshireman, a plain-speaking veteran of both the National Theatre and the Royal Shakespeare Company, said that contemporary stage productions lacked excitement. I have for long been dissatisfied with legitimate theatre, said Brian Blessed. You know Brian Blessed, right? The bearded guy who shouts a lot?
Yes.
He was Ming the Merciless, or some such thing like that. I tend to find myself going to marvellous operas, or marvellous musicals, or marvellous films. And very little theatre excites me. Actors pausing, actors boring me. Whereas in the past, Olivier, Wolfett, Redgrave, Richardson, Gielgud, you went to the theatre and your hair stood on end, and I've not had that for a long time, he said. The actor made his comments at the West End launch of his latest project, playing the voice of Captain Hook in Peter Pan on Ice.
Oh, dear.
Oh, you've got to love him, haven't you? So, I'm going to be here tomorrow, by the way.
You are?
Between 10 and 1. You're going to be here tomorrow?
I'm going to be here.
Right.
Alex, on the other hand, is not.
Oh. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to see the Flaming Lips.
Oh, I am sorry. Something you can't get out of. Oh, dear. The Flaming Lips. Where are they playing?
Bournemouth.
What?
Yeah.
You're going to Bournemouth?
I thought it'd be funny. Might be a load of blue rinsers there.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Actually, it's a
Bournemouth?
student town. There'd be a lot of students.
Yeah, why are you going to Bournemouth?
Because that was the only place I could get tickets.
Right.
That's not that far away. Nice little drive.
That's the guy in a white suit and lots of people dressed as bunny rabbits.
That's right, yeah.
Leaping about and, yeah.
Yeah.
Yoshimi, or stuff like that.
Yes. The Flaming Lips.
They do Pink Floyd covers.
Roger
Quite
Waters,
well as well.
Roger Waters, if you missed the Roger Waters gig in Hyde Park this year, as I did, because I was working here, then he's coming back next March or May, one of those months beginning with an M, and the tickets are all probably completely gone by now, and it costs 50 quid to get in. Isn't that incredible?
Gosh.
That's quite cheap for someone like that, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
£1 million
I think
pounds to see someone
I think it's
from
an
Pink Floyd.
outrage, the price of tickets these days. There's the story that I was going to do. I've headlined Sex with Sheep. I'll do that tomorrow.
No.
There's something to look forward to.
Oh, no.
Well, it was in the newspaper. I must be able to read it out on the air. It was in a family newspaper, Loose. Sex with Sheep. There's something to look forward to tomorrow. Absolutely. But no, the prices of tickets in the West End now, I just can't. I can't get over it. Bill Buckley's coming up after the new news, by the way. There's a thing called Q in the West End. £55 to go to the theatre. It's a comedy. I looked once and I thought, nothing's that funny.